Chapter 37:11. Peeping. At this moment, in Qian's city of East City, a golden-haired middle-aged man was sitting cross-legged in the tallest building. He wore an 8-trigram robe and held a horsetail whisk in his hand. He looked like an immortal. "City Lord, this is how it is," an old man said respectfully to the middle-aged man. "Who is this person? He's got guts. He actually dared to break into the execution ground. However, this person is also very smart. After defeating you, he spared your life. This is also giving me face. He seems to be telling me that he wants me to make an exception." A faint smile appeared on the middle-aged man's face. "That kid is pretty good." The old man smiled as he recalled what happened during the day. "It's really rare to be praised by you." The middle-aged man suddenly looked at the old man strangely. His words also woke the old man up. The old man quickly bowed and said, "City Lord, this subordinate has failed in his task. Please punish me." "Forget it. The other party has a martial god as a bodyguard. It's understandable that you lost." The middle-aged man waved his hand and said meaningfully, "To have an Einherjar as a bodyguard, how extraordinary. I'm getting more and more curious about his background. However, East City is the 8 trigrams divine mysterious mirror. If he dares to leave the city, he will immediately be discovered by us. Therefore, they are still in the city. It won't be long before we find out their origins." As he spoke, the middle-aged man suddenly frowned and shouted in a grim voice, "Which bastard dares to spy on me?" His brows twitched, and an 8 trigrams imprint rushed out of the room and shot out. At this moment, under the night sky, a devil ghost jellyfish was hiding in the sky. After sensing the terrifying fluctuations, it immediately exploded and turned into smoke and dust. In the room, the middle-aged man suddenly frowned. What a cunning thing. It actually blew itself up. It seems that unclean things have also come to our Bagua East City. He checked again for a moment, and seeing that there were no more abnormalities, he simply ignored it. At this moment, at the inn, Lin Ling opened his eyes and secretly wiped away his cold sweat. That terrifying fellow should be the City Lord of East City. His strength was indeed as powerful as he had imagined. He had a feeling that even the golden white evil spirit was no match for that powerhouse. It appeared that the martial god realm was also divided into different levels like the martial progenitor realm. This city is too big. Tomorrow, I'll be going to the E-Garden for the exchange. If I can't find the Lu clan, then things will be troublesome," Lin Ling said secretly. The previous peeping made him know that it wouldn't take long for the City Lord of East City to find them. At that time, even if they were wronged, it would be useless. Because they had no proof, they could only die. Therefore, the time left for Lin Ling was getting shorter and shorter, and it could be said to be extremely urgent. He did not want to unleash his full strength to fight against the City Lord of East City. This would instead benefit the Duan family. Right, the Duan family. Thinking of the Duan clan, Lin Ling's eyes suddenly lit up. Lin Ling had no clue about the Lu family, but if he could find the Duan family, he might be able to get some information from them. Immediately, his malevolent ghost jellyfish started collecting information with all its might. Through some conversations with passers-by, he gradually found an inn because there were many people from the Duan family in this inn. Most importantly, this inn was the same as the Jade Forest Inn, where the strong cultivators of the academy lived. However, there were only 2 big academies here, and the students here were much stronger than the ones at the Jade Forest Inn. Of course, the treatment in this inn was also much better than the Jade Forest Inn. It's really unfair. We're all gathered in the hall to eat, and there's not enough space. Their hall is bigger than ours, and the dishes are all rare meat. Lin Ling couldn't help but secretly say. He controlled the malevolent ghost jellyfish and carefully flew around the inn. His malevolent ghost tribulation body was a 4th-grade talent. It wasn't very high, but it had a lot of potential. However, if he encountered a 7th-grade talent, he would be able to detect Lin Ling if he wasn't careful. However, just as he finished thinking, a strong cultivator immediately sensed him and attacked towards the sky. Boom! The malevolent ghost jellyfish immediately exploded. Lin Ling didn't choose to avoid it and let that person destroy the malevolent ghost jellyfish. This person's strength was also extraordinary. He should be able to meet him in tomorrow's exchange. The reason why he didn't avoid it was to numb that person's heart. After all, Lin Ling had a lot of malevolent ghost jellyfish. Destroying one or two wouldn't affect him at all. Where did this bastard come from? You can't even withstand a single blow. Useless. Sure enough, that person sensed the sky and said disdainfully. Then, he ignored it. However, on the other side, a few more malevolent ghost jellyfish quietly flew over, and this time, they also quietly sneaked into the inn. Previously, on the street, Lin Ling heard people talking. They were talking about tomorrow's exchange between the 8 academies and the strongest cultivators who would participate in this exchange. What surprised Lin Ling was that there were actually a few familiar faces. One was Princess Tian. She wasn't a student of the academy, but she represented Miao Shen's true disciple to participate in this exchange. The other was an ambitious and ruthless character. Duan Wuhan. He was the genius who had awakened the first bloodline of the Duan family. He was the one whose treasure was stolen by Lin Ling in the Starry Sky Forest and defeated by Lin Ling in the Divine Tower. He and Duan Wujan were collectively known as the Duan family's twin prides. Of course, that was in the past. The current Duan Wuhan's strength had increased greatly, and Duan Wujan couldn't be compared to him at all. Most importantly, Lin Ling was sure that this matter was definitely related to Duan Wuhan. Since he couldn't find the Lu family, he might be able to find some clues by secretly observing Duan Wuhan. At this moment, in a room east of the inn. Young master. A young man looked at the man sitting cross-legged on the bed and said. The man sat there indifferently, his long hair fluttering. A wheel appeared behind him, rolling and rotating. Heaven and earth spirit chi suddenly poured into it and was constantly swallowed by the man. Young Master Yao, they're dead. The man said calmly. No, young Master Yao and the others aren't dead. The young man bent down and said with extreme fear. The man suddenly opened his eyes, and an ancient universe appeared in his eyes. Just a glance made the young man break out in a cold sweat. He was worthy of being the genius who had awakened the first bloodline of the Duan family. This momentum was too terrifying. Someone saved young Master Yao and the others. Oh. Duan Wujan, Du Qiu, and the other trash. Dead, they were all killed by someone. Hearing this, the man finally frowned. Who was it? According to the people present, the person who robbed the execution ground was very young, but extremely powerful. He killed Duan Wujan with one punch, and the 18-foot guards of East City were also defeated by one of that person's guards, the young man said again. What? This time, the man also stood up, his face extremely gloomy. He thought of all the enemies he knew in his mind, but he didn't think of who had robbed the execution ground and had such strength. Have you found out the origin of this person? Chapter 37:12. Find the Lu family. However, the young man shook his head and guessed. That man said he was from the God Slayer Alliance. In the God Slayer Alliance, apart from young Master Yao and Majin Tianzi, the strongest person is the other leader, Lin Ling. Lin Ling. The man was obviously angry at the mention of this name. He ground his teeth and no longer had the domineering aura from before. That was because he was Duan Wuhan. As the top genius of the Duan family, he should have been the center of attention. However, he had failed the 2 missions assigned to him by the Duan family and had lost face. If he had not awakened the Duan family's bloodline at the critical moment, he would have been banished to the cold palace by the Duan family. The person who had humiliated him was Lin Ling. In the Starry Sky Forest, he had led the Duan family's experts to seize the divine treasure. In the end, Lin Ling had appeared out of nowhere. Not only had he not obtained anything, but he had also annihilated his entire team. The Divine Tower was supposed to be Duan Wuhan's most glorious first step. However, it had been trampled by Lin Ling. It could be said that he had died before he had won the battle. It can't be Lin Ling. He's just Lin Ling. He's only at the Sage Realm. Even Duan Wujan could defeat him. How dare he attack the execution ground? In his dreams. Moreover, he has no right to have an expert who can defeat a half-step martial god as his bodyguard. Soon, Duan Wuhan shook his head and said. However, it doesn't matter. He can save them now, but he can't save them forever. The governor of East City is not a nobody. Young Master Yao and the others can escape from the execution ground, but they can't escape from East City. Instead, the people who saved them will suffer, ha ha ha. Then, Duan Wuhan suddenly laughed and said solemnly, Duan Lu, how's the Lu family? It's well arranged. The governor of East City definitely doesn't know their whereabouts. The young man immediately said. Very good, very good. Bring this antidote over. Tell them that after this matter, all the antidotes will be presented. At that time, the Lu family's ancestor will be able to survive. Yes, young master. But young master, are you going to save the Lu family's ancestor? Huh, what's the point of protecting them? Once young Master Yao and the others die, everyone in the Lu clan will die as well. Only the dead can keep a secret. Also, that old woman in Duke Lu's mansion probably doesn't know that the poison she was poisoned with was secretly released by my Duan clan. It's the all heavens fate poison that even gods and devils fear. It was refined from the hearts of 49 people with extreme Yin physiques and 81 people with pure Yang physiques. God Slayer Alliance, if you don't uproot them this time, then the next target will be Lin Ling. I will personally kill this Lin Ling. Young master is wise. There was no doubt that Duan Wuhan was very happy, very happy. Lin Ling, oh Lin Ling, you might not know, but I've already made a move on you. Poor you should still be working for your life in some secret realm, ha ha ha. Duan Wuhan sat down cross-legged again. Rest well today. Tomorrow, during the 8 academies exchange, I will take the first step to glory and let the experts of the 36 academies remember me. After laughing, he suddenly frowned because he sensed a strange fluctuation outside the inn's corridor. Then, he flicked his finger and shot out a stream of realm essence, which penetrated the wall and fell on the corridor. However, the corridor was still quiet, as if nothing had appeared at all. Duan Wuhan shook his head and ignored it, thinking that he was being paranoid. He did not know that at this moment, in the Jade Forest Inn, Lin Ling was also laughing. A jade talisman appeared in his hand. After he poured realm essence into it, the conversation between Duan Wuhan and the others was revealed. I knew it had something to do with you. Poor Duan Wuhan, when you were laughing, you didn't know that I was watching your every move. Lin Ling snorted, but his heart was a little heavy. Because he found that Duan Wuhan's strength had increased greatly, and his talent had reached the 7th grade. However, his cultivation was a little strange. Instead, it had regressed to the late-stage martial ancestor realm. This seemed to be an increase in talent at the expense of cultivation. However, Lin Ling still felt that Duan Wuhan was weaker than him. I hope this matter can be resolved tonight. Tomorrow, at the exchange, I will have a good fight with you. After saying this, Lin Ling immediately left the inn and informed young Demon Master and young Demon Master. At this moment, under the night sky, a young man was walking along the street. It was the person who had talked to Duan Wuhan before. He was obviously going to deliver the antidote. Young Master Wuhan is still powerful. Whoever offends him will not have a good ending. In tomorrow's exchange, young Master Wuhan can finally take the first step to glory. Next, he will be famous in the 36 academies, which is the second step. After that, he will be on the divine list in the stairway to heaven, which is the 3rd step. The young man looked more excited than Duan Wuhan. Not far from the young man, several figures were hidden under the night sky. They were all wearing large cloaks and had disdainful smiles on their faces. They were Lin Ling and young demon master. Duan Wuhan is indeed the mastermind behind the scenes. However, Duan Wuhan has underestimated us. Young demon master sneered. The first step to glory? Dream on. Back in the Transcendence Tower, Lin Ling had stopped Duan Wuhan's momentum from soaring to the heavens. In tomorrow's exchange, Lin Ling would definitely let history repeat itself. Let's go. Lin Ling shrugged. The young man turned left and right and gradually came to a small alley. When he looked ahead, there was no road ahead. The young man looked around cautiously. After confirming that there was no one around, a paper talisman appeared in his hand and burned it with his realm essence. Suddenly, a faint cloud appeared in the alley that was originally a dead end, and it was constantly flooding out. The young man immediately stepped into the cloud, and behind him, two figures appeared. After investigating, they also rushed into the cloud. After entering, they found that it was actually under an ancient green mountain. Moreover, a huge manor was located there, and it was bustling with noise and excitement. Have we arrived? Young demon master Majin Tianzi stood behind an ancient giant tree, looking expectant. It should be, but let's confirm it first. Otherwise, we will alert the enemy. Lin Ling said cautiously. Okay. Young demon master and the others had to suppress their impulse because they really wanted to kill the young man from before. Duan Wuhan dared to harm them. With their temperament, how could they tolerate it? It's a little strange. I keep feeling like someone is spying on me. However, with my strength, it's impossible for me to not notice it. The young man continued to walk forward, muttering to himself, perhaps, all of this is my illusion. He came to the front of the manor's gate and then knocked on the door. Your uncle is here. Open the door. Open the door. His attitude was extremely arrogant. Chapter 37:13. Do you really think I don't dare? Not long ago, their ancestor suddenly fell seriously ill and was on the verge of death. The Lu family hurriedly invited many boundary masters from East City to help, but they could not find the cause of the illness. In the end, they could only ask for Miao Shen's true teachings. Miao Shen sent a woman over, but after investigating, she said there was nothing she could do and that they should prepare for the funeral. This made the Lu family's hearts turn to ashes. But at the crucial moment, a young man suddenly came with the antidote and said he could cure the Lu family's ancestor. In the beginning, everyone did not believe it. But in a desperate situation, after swallowing the antidote, the elder ancestor who had been in a coma woke up. Because they also believed the young man, and in order to save their ancestor, they agreed to any request of the young man. One of the requests was for the Lu family to hide in the secret realm and not leave for a year. Everyone in the Lu family agreed to it. However, although the young man promised to cure the Lu family's ancestor, their attitude was extremely arrogant. Are you stupid? Hurry up and invite me in. Yes. The young man put his hands behind his back and shouted coldly. Young hero Duan, please come in, please come in. Yes. A middle-aged man from the Lu family quickly said with a smile. Your Lu family is really stupid. You don't know how to do anything. You're really useless. Yes. The young man said disdainfully and swaggered in. The Lu family's faces immediately turned ugly. However, in the ancient forest ahead, Lin Ling and the others' eyes finally lit up. The Lu family? They finally confirmed it. Attack! Attack! Lin Ling waved his hand and led young Miao and the others forward. The Lu family's gate was about to close, but at this moment, with a bang, the gate was forcefully pushed open. Several figures appeared before everyone's eyes. Everyone was stunned. Who were these people? After all, the Lu family promised the young man that they would not contact anyone else, but these people suddenly appeared. Could they be the young man's people? Involuntarily, the middle-aged man from the Lu family looked at the young man from the Duan family. However, the latter also looked at him with a confused expression. Then, he shouted angrily, "Very well, the Lu family went back on your word. You said you wouldn't tell anyone, but you let strangers come here?" "Yes." This time, the Lu family's people were even more confused. "Aren't they your people?" "There's no need to guess. I'm the Lin Ling your master is looking for." "Yes." "And I'm Young Yao." "Yes." "I'm Mo Jin Z." "Yes." Without waiting for the young man from the Duan family to ask, Lin Ling had already answered without hesitation. His words caused the Duan clan youth's expression to change drastically. He pointed at Lin Ling and the other two and said, "You guys are from the God Slayer Alliance?" "Yes." However, before he could say anything else, Lin Ling and the other two had already rushed over. He didn't use any tricks at all. All he did was use brute force to smash the young man onto the ground. Then, he started punching and kicking him. However, if he didn't kill him now, he would definitely be beaten up to vent his anger first. "Stop it, stop it." The young man was beaten into a pig's head. All his teeth were broken, and there were several footprints on his face. One of the footprints broke his nose. That was Lin Ling's kick. Lin Ling's physical strength was strong. That kick was no joke. "You're not fighting? Why do you have to fight?" Young Yao and the others were still angry. They beat even harder. On the other hand, the people in the surroundings were flabbergasted. However, they didn't lend a hand, which was a rare occurrence. Instead, they felt extremely carefree, especially when they heard the young man from the Duan clan cry out in pain. They felt as if they had given him a good beating. Really. During this period of time, the Lu clan had suffered too much. Lin Ling kicked him a few more times. Then, he walked toward the middle-aged man from the Lu family. "Senior, I'm sorry you had to see this." No, but this." The middle-aged man was still shocked by Lin Ling's violence. This is what happened. Lin Ling did not hide anything. He told him about how Young Yao and the others had been wronged. "So that's what happened. No wonder they told us to hide. They've gone too far. They're using our name to harm others." Hearing Lin Ling's words, the people from the Lu family were displeased. However, the middle-aged man remained calm. He sighed and said, "Young hero, I'm very sorry about what happened to your friend. However, the Lu family has no other choice. Our ancestors' life is at stake. We have no choice but to beg the Duan family for help." Disappointment and helplessness appeared on everyone's faces when they heard this. "Hee, perhaps you don't know. The Duan family is planning to burn the bridge after crossing the river. After this is over, they'll definitely destroy you. Otherwise, if you tell others about this, what reputation will the Duan family have?" However, Lin Ling said calmly. His words made the people from the Lu family change their expressions. The Duan family is so despicable. Moreover, the poison in your ancestor's body was secretly released by the Duan family. Lin Ling said again. "What?" The people from the Lu family exploded with murderous intent. A thief crying, "Catch a thief." No wonder the Duan family was so kind. It was all part of their plan. On the ground, the young man from the Duan family who was still being beaten up felt his heart explode. "Lin Ling, you. He roared in disbelief. That was because Lin Ling knew all their secrets. However, he suddenly shouted, "Lin Ling, so what if you know?" Without the Duan family, the old woman from the Lu family would have died. Ha, Lu Jiangnan, if you don't do as the Duan family wants, you know the consequences. You're shameless. The middle-aged man from the Lu family was so angry that his eyes turned red. Although he knew that the Duan family was harming the Lu family, what could the Lu family do? They couldn't possibly expose Duan Wuhan, but by then, the ancestor of the Lu family would also die. Lin Ling, come and kill me. Let's see if you dare to kill me. If you dare, the ancestor of the Lu family will die. Seeing that the people from the Lu family were silent, the young man shouted again. Young Master Yao and the others also frowned. Their eyes were filled with murderous intent, but they did not dare to act rashly. After all, if they touched the young man again, the Lu family would not help them. Come and hit me. Try and hit me again. The young man's face turned red as he shouted at young Master Yao and the others. Hee, do you really think I don't dare to kill you? However, at that moment, Lin Ling walked over with murderous intent. Originally, he wanted to keep the young man as a witness, but he had to admit that the young man disgusted him. Seeing Lin Ling walk over step by step, the young man felt a little guilty. He had obviously heard of Lin Ling's name. He was a fearless person. According to the reputation of the Duan family, he was even more difficult to deal with than young Master Yao and the others. Me. Chapter 37:14. Well done. I didn't kill you before because I gave you a chance to atone for your crimes. But you wanted to seek death. It seems that you won't die if you don't seek death. Lin Ling shook his head and didn't waste any more words. He simply kicked out with all his strength like a whip. Bang! The young man's head exploded like a watermelon. Blood splattered all over the ground. If he was still alive, then he would be able to see if Lin Ling dared to kill him. Don't dare. Dream on. Ah! The people of the Lu clan didn't expect Lin Ling to be so bold. Now that the young man was dead, the Duan clan wouldn't give him the antidote anymore. This was killing the Lu clan's ancestor. Young hero, you shouldn't have killed him, you shouldn't have killed him. Lu Jiangnan's eyes were red as he looked at Lin Ling, and his voice became low. Your Lu family is a duke with thousands of years of history. How can you be so shameless to be humiliated by a clown like this? Where is your dignity? Lin Ling was not afraid at all. Hearing this, Lu Jiangnan's expression didn't change at all. He said word by word, if this matter was related to the rest of the Lu family, or even the entire Lu family, then the Lu family wouldn't hesitate and would face any difficulties. However, this matter is related to our ancestor. That is our ancestor. For our ancestor, we can endure any humiliation, so how can we kill this person? It could be seen that he was also a well-known man. Then, Lu Jiangnan shook his head and said, I'm sorry. You have to be sent to the Duan family. Perhaps this is the only way to appease the Duan family and make them give you the antidote again. The people of the Lu family also walked forward step by step, ready to attack Lin Ling and the others. But right at this moment, a rumbling sound resounded. A granny around the age of 70 or 80 appeared at the entrance of the hall while leaning on a walking stick. She fiercely stomped her walking stick on the ground, causing the floor tiles to split apart with a bang. Well done. The granny seemed to be old, but she was not inferior to a man. She shouted angrily. Everyone was shocked and in disbelief. Great-grandmother. Ancestor. Everyone shouted, their eyes filled with worry. Jiangnan, how did you manage to become the head of a family? Your eyes can't even compare to those of the younger generation. The old granny ignored the crowd and walked over step by step. She was old but strong, and her momentum was like a great bell. Great-grandmother. Lu Jiangnan hurriedly knelt down. His eyes were wet. Everyone else did the same. Only Lin Ling and the others were still standing. You are disgraceful. The old man shouted, our Lu clan is also a prestigious clan. We are the descendants of gods. How can we be humiliated by these rascals? Are you all stupid? The Duan clan wants to use our hands to harm others. How can they let us off after this? Also, they deliberately framed the Lu clan. How could you not care about it and attack the innocent? Let me tell you, even if the entire Lu clan is executed, we will never lower our heads. Lin Ling and the others secretly admired this old man for his staunchness and his ability to distinguish between right and wrong. However, everyone in the Lu clan shook their heads. They were not fools. How could they not know this? It was just that they valued their ancestor's life more than anything else. Ancestor! Lu Jiangnan shouted and quietly lowered his head. The old woman looked at Lin Ling and the others again. The anger in her eyes disappeared and was replaced by kindness. Well done. Praise. From her mouth, the words of praise floated out once again. This old life of mine has lived for countless years. It's enough. If my young friends were implicated because of me, I would not be able to rest in peace. I apologize for this matter. Apologies. The old woman bowed to Lin Ling and the others again. Then, she said indifferently, Jiangnan, listen to me. You have to testify for these young friends. Do you understand? Yes. 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 Everyone in the Lu clan shouted in unison, but their eyes became even more moist. Because they knew that their ancestors' actions were equivalent to pushing them into a pit of fire. Young Master Yao and the others trembled and hurriedly bowed to the old woman. This old woman was sensible and could distinguish between right and wrong. She deserved their respect. On the other hand, Lin Ling stood still and looked at the giant ghost beside him. He was already quietly asking. Giant ghost, can you see what poison this senior has been poisoned with? Yes. Even with Lin Ling's eyesight, he could not see what poison this old woman had been poisoned with. Aren't you a boundary master? Can't you see this little poison? Yes. The giant ghost said fiercely. Hearing that, Lin Ling immediately frowned. From the giant ghost's words, this poison did not seem difficult to detoxify. This poison is actually not difficult to detoxify. It was just hidden by the boundary master, so you did not notice it. Moreover, from the beginning, you took the wrong path. You thought that the old woman had been poisoned and would definitely show signs of being poisoned, but you missed the boundary. The giant ghost said again. Lin Ling's eyes finally lit up when he heard this. That's right, he had taken the wrong path from the beginning and missed the boundary. Immediately, he quietly probed with his soul power. On the old woman's body, he indeed detected the smell of a god's boundary. After the old woman gave her instructions, she also gave her will, causing everyone in the Lu family to shed tears. The Lu family was fought for by their ancestor in the past. It was said that the ancestor's seniority was so high that even the current city lord of East City respected her. However, after today, the glory of their Lu family would also fall. Ancestor. Great-grandmother. Everyone in the Lu family knelt and kowtowed. On the contrary, the old woman was open-minded and only smiled faintly. However, in her heart, she was actually somewhat reluctant. It was not that she was reluctant to give up her old life, but she was reluctant to give up the Lu family and these juniors. Wait. However, at this moment, Lin Ling also spoke faintly. Everyone was stunned and their faces were filled with suspicion. Young Beast Lord and the others were incomparably embarrassed. At this moment, it was obvious that the Lu family was giving their will. Lin Ling's interruption was undoubtedly very rude. Sure enough, Lu Jiangnan's expression was somewhat ugly, but he still said indifferently, "Young hero, what is the matter?" Just as he finished speaking, Lin Ling spoke again. "This poison, perhaps I can cure it." Boom! As soon as his voice fell, everyone's hearts exploded. They had asked all the experts to examine the poison in their ancestor, but no one could cure it. Now, Lin Ling said that he could cure it. Young Beast Lord and the others' eyes trembled violently. At this critical moment, Lin Ling could not be joking, right? If he was joking, then the Lu family would be angered. What did you say? At this moment, Lu Jiangnan suddenly appeared in front of Lin Ling, grabbed his clothes and said, "Say it again." I said, "Perhaps I can cure this poison." Lin Ling was fearless and spoke again. Do you know what this means? If you say you can cure it, then you can cure it. If anything happens to the ancestor, can you afford to pay for it? Lu Jiangnan sensed that Lin Ling's cultivation was inferior to his and instantly thought that Lin Ling was boasting. If I can cure this poison, will the old lady not make a mistake? Chapter 37:15. 99%. His words were like a silent slap to Lu Jiangnan's face, making him dizzy. He had been worried about the old ancestor and was afraid that Lin Ling would cause the old ancestor's death. But Lin Ling told him that the old ancestor would not die if he could cure the poison. That was obviously impossible. Young man, you've got guts. Jiangnan, let him go and apologize, lest you offend the guest. At this time, the old man was more open-minded and said with a smile. Lu Jiangnan quickly let go of Lin Ling and apologized. However, Lin Ling could understand his feelings, so he did not mind. I wonder, what are your chances of curing the poison? The old lady asked again. Chances? Lin Ling was still unsure, so he quietly asked the giant ghost. The giant ghost became impatient and replied fiercely, Don't ask me such an idiotic question. You'll know after you break the barrier. Even a 3-year-old child can cure this poison. Lin Ling was speechless, but he knew that the giant ghost had no reason to lie to him. Therefore, the poison was not difficult to cure. It was just that it was covered by a layer of fog, making it very mysterious. When they quietly asked, the old lady saw Lin Ling's silence and thought that Lin Ling was not confident. She sighed inwardly, but she felt that it was normal. That was because she could be considered as one of the most influential people in the world. However, even she could not identify the source of this poison. Instead, she felt that it was hard to unravel. Otherwise, she could cure the poison herself. The Lu family members also sighed inwardly, and their rising anticipation disappeared. Lu Jiangnan asked, Young man, do you have a 30% chance of success? Hearing that, Lin Ling shook his head. The Lu family members' faces changed, and they asked again, Then you should have a 20% chance. A 20% chance, this was also very slim. However, Lin Ling still shook his head. Lu Jiangnan's face turned ashen, but he did not dare to ask again. However, the old lady smiled and said, Young man, you should have a 10% chance of success. In fact, everyone knew the answer. It should be a 10% chance of success. However, Lin Ling still shook his head. What? Everyone's face changed. Less than a 10% chance? As the saying goes, a blind cat catches a dead mouse. If the chance was less than a 10% chance, they would not even touch the mouse's hair. Could it be? However, the old lady's eyes suddenly, because the chance of curing the poison had never been lower than 10%. She might as well not know at that time. Therefore, Lin Ling should be more than 30%. Young man, you mean, you have a 40% chance of curing the poison? Although she wasn't afraid of death, it would be better if she didn't have to die. Everyone's spirit trembled. Lu Jiangnan even gave himself a ruthless slap. His cheap mouth had underestimated this young master. It should be more than that. Not. More? Was more than 40? More than 40. Lin Ling finally expressed his opinion. Boom. Everyone's hearts beat violently. 90%. That was too exaggerated. It should be 99%. Thinking of the giant ghost's contemptuous expression, Lin Ling said with some certainty. 99%? Was that not 100%? Little ancestor. Everyone in the Lu family knelt down and kowtowed. That kind of gratitude came from the bottom of their hearts. Although I think it's 99%, it's not 100%. The remaining 10% might be an accident. If an accident happens, it will be beyond my control. Lin Ling smiled and looked at the old lady. In fact, before Lin Ling looked over, the old lady could not wait any longer. The Lu family hurriedly brought Lin Ling into a secret chamber. Outside, the secret chamber was surrounded by layers of experts to prevent anyone from causing trouble. Stay alert, everyone. Don't let even a fly pass. If you disturb the young hero's treatment, I'll kill you. Lu Jiangnan also gave a death order. As for young Master Yao and the others, they were undoubtedly treated as distinguished guests by the Lu family. They were served with good wine and meat. In the secret chamber, Lin Ling had the old lady sit down cross-legged. Lin Ling's soul power spread out, constantly searching for something. Sensing Lin Ling's terrifying soul power, the old ancestor of the Lu family was shocked. She looked forward to Lin Ling even more. She had seen pigs climb trees and salted fish come back to life, but this was the first time she had seen such a huge soul power. Lin Ling's face was solemn. His soul power continued to search and finally found something strange behind the old lady. It was a barrier. This was a god's barrier. It had the power to block everything. Unless it was a true barrier master, ordinary people would not be able to sense it. Even martial gods would not be able to sense it. Moreover, a barrier master might not be able to sense it. It had to be at the level of a barrier god. However, Lin Ling's Tao of barrier was the essence of 2 lives. In addition, he asked the giant ghost if there was something he did not understand. So, this god's barrier was not difficult. It's just as I thought. After a while, Lin Ling's lips curled into a smile. Little friend, have you found anything? The old lady was delighted. This poison, I can cure it 100%. Lin Ling said confidently, in fact, with your experience, I'm 100% sure that I can cure this poison. His words made the old lady suspicious. However, Lin Ling explained again, this poison is very fierce, but it's not hard to cure. The hard part is the barrier. Because the god's barrier hides the poison, even the poisoned person himself cannot sense where the poison is. As the saying goes, prescribe the right medicine for the illness. If I can't find the symptoms, I can't prescribe the medicine. Lin Ling's words made the old lady even more confused. However, Lin Ling had already begun to break the barrier. His soul power was very strong. He could set up 10 billion barriers in a breath. In addition, he had the giant ghost's guidance. Suddenly, the old lady's back transformed. A huge sarcoma the size of a stone mill appeared. This sarcoma seemed to be alive. It was beating like a heart. On the surface, there was a huge eye. This was the Duan family's fate wheel. What was more terrifying was that in the eye, there were countless souls of young boys and girls floating around, letting out resentful voices. The old lady had been carrying such a terrifying thing, but she did not notice it at all. At this moment, the old lady also understood. Prescribing the right medicine for the illness. It turned out that the signs of the poison were hidden. No wonder she had invited so many experts to cure the poison, but it was useless. It turned out that those people could not find the signs. Moreover, when those people arrived, their first thought was to cure the poison. They did not think about the barrier at all. However, these barriers are not simple. The person who set them up should be from Miao Shen's true teachings. Lin Ling said. Miao Shen's true teachings? Yes. Chapter 37:16. To the E-Garden. Lin Ling's eyes lit up. He suddenly thought of someone, Princess Tian. He told her about Princess Tian's features, and the old granny was shocked. She nodded and said, just as you said. Do you know her? Lin Ling pondered for a moment, and then a cold smile appeared on his face. The Duan clan had asked someone to plot against Senior from the very beginning, and set up a simple enchantment. After that, the woman who inherited the legacy of Miao Shen came uninvited and set up an even more powerful divine enchantment on top of the original enchantment. As a result, no one could break that enchantment. Then, Duan Wuhan came and helped the Lu family as the savior of the world. And that accomplice, that woman, her name is Princess Tian. The truth was revealed. It had to be said that this plan was watertight. If it weren't for the appearance of Lin Ling, Duan Wuhan would definitely have succeeded in his plot. After killing young Master Yao and the others, he would have destroyed the Lu family. As for Yi Cheng, no one knew that he was the mastermind. Duan clan. A ferocious glint appeared in the old granny's eyes. Lin Ling didn't delay any longer. With a twitch of his brows, the evil ghost jellyfish appeared and began to devour the tumor. Although the sarcoma was highly toxic, the evil ghost jellyfish was not afraid of it. After swallowing it, it could refine it and turn it into another harmless energy that could be fed back to Lin Ling. A moment later, all the evil ghost jellyfish returned. Lin Ling immediately felt a pure energy surging within his body. This was a very pure power. Resentment. The resentment of the young boys and girls had been swallowed by the talent of the realm-swallowing beast. Resentment was also a type of ominous energy. Moreover, this resentment was formed by 49 people with extreme yin body and 81 people with pure yang body. It was truly extraordinary. Rumble. Lin Ling's body was filled with a murderous aura. The realm-swallowing beast's talent was increasing, and it had entered the 4th stage. At the side, the old granny sucked in a breath of cold air. Just how many kinds of power was this guy hiding? Previously, there was the ghostly jellyfish, and now there was the ferocious aura. If she knew that Lin Ling still had Buddhist chi, demonic chi, immortal chi, and dragon god chi, she would be even more surprised. This was because, with so many different types of energy fusing into one body, an ordinary person would only end up exploding and dying. However, Lin Ling was safe and sound. This was the might of his primal chaos divine formula. After a long time, Lin Ling opened his eyes. The ferocious aura in his primal chaos eye was even more terrifying. The old granny didn't dare to leave before and had been guarding Lin Ling. Seeing that Lin Ling was fine, she finally relaxed. "Thank you, senior." Lin Ling's eyes regained their clarity as he hurriedly said. He never thought that he would actually get such a great benefit from this trip. If Duan Wuhan knew about it, he would probably die from anger. Because the resentment was all thanks to Duan Wuhan. "I should be the one thanking you." The old granny shook her head and smiled kindly. "Senior, let's go out and make the Lu family happy. They have been worried for a long time." Next, Lin Ling walked out with the old granny. Just as they walked out of the secret room, a large number of people still gathered outside the secret room. When they heard the sound of the door opening, all of them became nervous. Lin Ling. Even young Demon Master and the others secretly clenched their fists. The door opened and a figure slowly walked out. He was dressed in a long robe and his long hair was tied behind his head. He seemed to be in high spirits. It was Lin Ling. Looking at him, everyone held their breaths. Lin Ling smiled and said lightly, "Fortunately, I didn't disappoint you." After the words fell, beside him, an old man walked out step by step. His back was straight and his eyes were like lightning. Boom! The hearts of the Lu family exploded. Led by Lu Jiangnan, everyone knelt down. Looking at her descendants, the old granny was undoubtedly very excited. However, she did not forget her benefactor. "You have to thank him." Thud. Everyone kowtowed to Lin Ling, benefactor. They shouted. Whether it was the elderly or the children, at this moment, their gratitude to Lin Ling came from the bottom of their hearts. That was because Lin Ling had saved their Lu family's soul. Hee hee. Seeing this, Lin Ling also smiled brightly. Next, the old granny also took the initiative to speak. For this matter, she supported Lin Ling with all her strength. Obviously, the Lu family could not go against the Duan family. However, they would not let the mastermind, Duan Wuhan, off. Most importantly, this was Yi City. Yi City's city lord would definitely help the Lu family. Now, let's go and report Duan Wuhan. After getting the support of the Lu family, young Demon Master and the others also felt proud and elated. In fact, they were very unhappy about being wrong during this period. However, Lin Ling stopped them. This matter is not urgent. Not urgent? Young Demon Master and the Lu family were all victims. They were more anxious than anyone else, so they were very surprised at this moment. Duan Wuhan is brewing and preparing to amaze the world with a single brilliant feat, therefore, he will definitely go to the 8 campuses exchange and shine brightly. Since he is looking forward to this moment so much, why don't we step on him now? Lin Ling also told them the news he heard at the inn. Brilliant, this plan is brilliant. When he is flying at the highest point, we will step on him. That will make people feel better. Young Demon Master and the others were all stunned. Suddenly, they became even more excited and expectant. Even Lin Ling showed an expectant smile. He could guess that Duan Wuhan would definitely soar to the sky at the 8 campuses exchange. However, when he was shining brightly, he met him again. The 3rd time. Lin Ling wanted to stop him for the 3rd time and step him from the clouds into the mud of the earth. Such a blow was undoubtedly more unbearable than killing Duan Wuhan. That night, Lin Ling and the others also temporarily stayed in the Lu family. This was because they had spent a day helping the Lu family. It would be useless for them to rush back now. Lin Ling also sent a message to Yu Yu to reassure them. Then, he started to cultivate. Currently, his 2 great talents had reached the 4th grade. Moreover, his cultivation had reached the peak of LV2 Martial Ancestor Realm. He was only 1 step away from a breakthrough. The evil ghost jellyfish was indeed powerful. It could devour energy and feed it back to Lin Ling. The speed of his cultivation was much faster than using royal crystals. At this moment, Lin Ling was confident that he would not be afraid of anyone in the Martial Ancestor Realm unless he encountered a LV7 half-step Martial God Realm. The night passed quietly, and dawn arrived. Early in the morning, Lin Ling left, leaving young Demon Master and the others in the Lu family to wait for the crucial moment. Everyone was looking forward to seeing Lin Ling off. Lin Ling walked through the mysterious clouds and appeared in Yi City again. He glanced around and saw 2 things being discussed in the streets and alleys. First, it was about the robbery of the execution ground. This matter was becoming more and more serious. The whole city was shocked. If Lin Ling did not find the Lu family, he would be found in Yi City in less than a day. Second, it was about the 8 campuses exchange. Chapter 37:17. Blocking the way. Although Yu Yu and the rest did not participate in the exchange, they still asked others, so they slowly told Lin Ling. Yesterday's exchange was the time when the deans of the various academies explained martial arts. Many students benefited a lot, and some even broke through. Now that they had comprehended it, the next step was to verify it. Today was obviously the exchange between the 8 academies. Martial arts, no matter where, martial arts would always be number 1. When martial artists gathered together to discuss martial arts, it was inevitable that they would fight. After hearing the news, Lin Ling's eyes also lit up. He instantly guessed that today's exchange would be the time for Duan Wuhan to soar to the sky. Let's go to Yi Garden. Without further ado, Lin Ling hurriedly brought Yu Yu and the rest to Yi Garden. Yi Garden's status in Yi City was very high, so the location was not difficult to find. After spending some time, an ancient academy finally appeared in front of them. An ancient atmosphere pervaded the air, and ancient buildings were stacked on top of each other. Between the buildings, there were green mountains and clear waters. When the wind blew, the trees rustled, as if they were telling the ancient stories of the era of the gods. Looking at the ancient Yi Garden, Lin Ling's eyes flashed. Just from the aura of the academy, he felt that Yi Garden's foundation was deeper than Snow Wind Academy's. Halt, who are you? At the ancient stone gate built by green rocks, several figures stood there. When they saw Lin Ling and the rest approaching, someone immediately shouted angrily. In fact, they were just talking nonsense because Lin Ling and the rest were wearing the robes of Snow Wind Academy. Unless they were fools, how could they not recognize them? So, they were obviously doing it on purpose. Because Lin Ling also saw that there were people entering Yi Garden one after another, but these people did not stop them. And the people who entered were not students, but seemed to be martial artists of Yi Garden. They must have come to watch the exchange between the 8 academies. People from Snow Wind Academy. Lin Ling immediately replied indifferently. I know you are from Snow Wind Academy. I'm asking, who are you? Don't you know that Snow Wind Academy only has 5 places? Now that these 5 places are in the academy, so you are not part of the 5 places. That means you are not qualified to enter Yi Garden. One of the young men said harshly. From his robe, Lin Ling could tell that he was a student of Shanair Hall. No wonder he was guarding the door. It doesn't matter if we are on the list or not. They are all qualified to enter, so why aren't we qualified? Xian Yuangu couldn't stand it anymore and said coldly. Hee, they are East City's cultivators and their strength is not weak. As for you, I guess you are Wind Snow Academy's Shen Yi Hall and Shen Yi Hall's juniors. Of course you can't compare to them. The young man said disdainfully. Towards the Snow Wind Academy, they naturally did not put them in their eyes. Of course, if you want to go in, you can. Another person said with a smile. He stretched out his hand and rubbed his thumb and index finger together. This gesture was undoubtedly asking for money. Other than looking down on the Snow Wind Academy, they also guessed that Lin Ling and the others had come because of the academy's reputation, so they took the opportunity to take advantage of the situation. Of course, if you don't have royal crystals, you can accompany us for a day. Someone was bold and said with a smile. As soon as the words fell, Lin Ling took a step forward and slapped out. Bang! That person was suddenly swept away and smashed into the bluestone at the door. Then, he slid down and scraped off a large piece of moss. You! Exclamation point. Yi Garden's people were shocked. They didn't expect Lin Ling to be so bold. You guys have guts. You're just from Shen Yi Hall and you dare to take liberties with my women. Exclamation point. However, Lin Ling said coldly. He was already unhappy before, but who knew that these people were even more daring and dared to take liberties with Yu and the others. In addition, as soon as young Master Yao and the others left Yi Garden, they were caught and executed, but Yi Garden did not care about them at all. This made Lin Ling's impression of Yi Garden worse and worse. You're courting death! Exclamation point. Damn, a junior dares to be so arrogant! Exclamation point. After those people were furious, they all wanted to attack. What happened? Exclamation point. But at this moment, a handsome man walked over with a large number of people. These people were all wearing long robes with the imprint of the 8 trigrams on the back. To be able to wear such long robes was an honor because they were the experts of Shen Yi Hall. Senior. Yes. Those people immediately saluted, then pointed at Lin Ling and began to exaggerate. As they spoke, they sneered. However, Lin Ling also sneered. He wanted to see how arrogant this group of people could be. Sure enough, after listening to what was said, the person's face darkened. Sirs, the Wind Snow Academy only invited 5 people. You must have come because of its reputation. This matter is already against the rules, and now you even dare to hit people? I am Li Mubai. For the dignity of Yi Garden, I will arrest you and throw you to Snow Wind Academy. Then I will ask Snow Wind Academy if the upper beam is not upright and the lower beam is crooked. Yes. His words were full of disdain for Snow Wind Academy. Sirs, if the upper beam is not upright and the lower beam is crooked, I don't know about other academies, but Yi Garden, I have eyes and can see. Lin Ling retorted, however, we are one of the 5 people. You are guarding the gate, which means that you are not experts and cannot be compared to us, so you are not qualified to discipline us. Haha. Ha ha ha. Haha. The people of Yi Garden laughed angrily. These people were mocking the upper beam of Yi Garden? These people were mocking them for not being qualified? What a joke. The people around also narrowed their eyes. They were curious about who Lin Ling and the others were. They were actually so unscrupulous at the gate of E-Garden. You said you are one of the 5 people. If you say you are, then you are. The exchange has been going on for a day. If you are one of the 5 people of Snow Wind Academy, you would have already been in E-Garden. Last night, E-Garden did not allow anyone to leave the academy. Could it be that you violated the rules and left E-Garden last night? That's right. In my opinion, they are just here to make up the numbers. Do you think we are idiots? The people of E-Garden laughed. I really do think you are idiots. Lin Ling knew that time was pressing, so he did not have time to talk nonsense. Since they blocked him, then he would fight his way in. Get lost. The Eye of Chaos appeared, and the experts of E-Garden and Shen 2 halls could not block it. Dang dang dang. They stepped back, their faces pale as they opened up a path for him. Lin Ling led Yu and the others forward. Crazy. The surrounding warriors from East City were shocked at this moment. Those people were blocked, so they forced their way in? If this was not crazy, then what was? And the experts of E-Garden and Shen 2 halls, each of their faces changed greatly. You say, we are not one of the 5 people of Snow Wind Academy? However, Lin Ling did not stop. His speed suddenly increased, and he punched out. Bang! One person was hit, spitting out blood and flew out. Bang! The second person. Bang bang bang. The third person, the fourth person. Chapter 37:18. Participating in the competition. You can't even block one of my punches and you call yourself an expert of E-Garden. Shame on you. Lin Ling didn't even look at them as he led Yu and the rest forward. Those people sat on the ground, their faces as dark as the bottom of a nest. They felt extremely humiliated. Because there were many people in East City watching, and they represented E-Garden, but they couldn't even block one punch. Aren't you guys a little too bold? However, the matter here had obviously alarmed the teachers of E-Garden, and several teachers flew over. The robes these people wore were obviously different. There were runes on the sides of the robes, and one of them no longer had the 8 trigrams behind him, but a huge E character. E generation? Someone seemed to have guessed something, and his face changed. In E-Garden, other than the Shen 3 halls, there was an even stronger circle, and that was the E generation. These people were all ranked in the top 200 of the divine list. They were powerful and had terrifying talent, but they rarely appeared in E-Garden. Even if they stayed, they would be teachers. The teachers of E-Garden were obviously stronger than those of Snow Wind Academy. Needless to say, the experts of the Shen 3 halls were even stronger. After all, it was the 4th-ranked academy. They forced me to make a move because they questioned whether I was one of the top 5 candidates of the Snow Wind Academy. So, I confirmed it. In the end, it seems that they are as weak as dogs. Since I can defeat them, it means that I am not an ordinary expert of the Shen San Hall. I am definitely one of the top 5 candidates of the Snow Wind Academy. Lin Ling was not afraid at all, and said indifferently with his hands behind his back. This attitude undoubtedly angered the teachers. They looked at the students around them and immediately became angry. Trash, a group of trash, they had lost face for E-Garden. What is your name? The leader of the teachers said indifferently. He was surprised because the young man in front of him didn't seem to have a high cultivation level, but his strength was not weak. When did Snow Wind Academy have such an expert? Lin Ling. Lin Ling did not hide it. The teacher took out a jade slip and checked it, then nodded. Snow Wind Academy, there is indeed this name. If I'm not wrong, the 2 girls are Yu and Xian Yuangu. Not bad. Lin Ling nodded. The teacher's face instantly turned ugly. Although he had confirmed Lin Ling's identity, Lin Ling was too arrogant. He had actually come to the E-Garden to participate in the exchange, yet he was actually late. Moreover, yesterday, no one was allowed to enter or leave the E-Garden, yet this Lin Ling sneaked out? He was just about to flare up, but Lin Ling clearly guessed what he was going to say, and said calmly, I didn't participate in the exchange yesterday, and today is my first time here. In other words, I just arrived. What? The teachers were taken aback and became even angrier. So this guy wasn't late, nor did he sneak away last night. He had never attended the event. He didn't care about E-Garden at all. No, because they didn't care about him at all. If there's nothing else, I'm going in. Lin Ling ignored their anger and continued to lead Yu and the others forward. Those teachers were so angry that their bodies were trembling. They wanted to flare up, but they couldn't find an excuse because Lin Ling really didn't sneak out last night. It wasn't considered a violation of the rules. As for being late, Yuan hadn't said anything about the punishment for being late. Perhaps Yuan felt that the students of the various academies wouldn't be late to the exchange that they were holding because they would be missing the discussion of the Tao by the experts of the various academies. However, there was someone who dared to be late, and was late for an entire day. Teacher Yu, are we going to let the people of Snow Wind Academy be arrogant? Someone said unwillingly. They were the teachers of E-Garden, with monstrous strength, but they couldn't do anything to a brat who was still wet behind the ears. They couldn't swallow this anger. How can we let them be arrogant? In their dreams, tell the E-Garden's Shinsan Hall students that if there's a chance, teach them a good lesson. The leading teacher said coldly. At this moment, the people of Snow Wind Academy were running around in circles. It's been a day, and Lin Ling still hasn't appeared? Also, Yu and the others didn't come either. The dean frowned. We don't know where they went. The other two Shinsan Hall students said helplessly. However, when they thought of what happened at the Jade Forest Inn, they were shocked and didn't know whether they should tell the dean or not. Because, at the Jade Forest Inn, all the experts of the major academies were afraid of Lin Ling. It was like a dream. Ai, Lin Ling, Lin Ling. The dean also shook her head helplessly. But at this moment, the jade tablet in her hand rang. Looking carefully, she finally smiled. Because, Lin Ling and Yu had arrived. Lin Ling is here, go pick them up. The dean immediately said and personally went out. A moment later, in the hall where the Snow Wind Academy lived, Lin Ling and the others also appeared. Looking at Lin Ling, the dean didn't have time to complain about Lin Ling's lateness and couldn't help but laugh. Brother Lin Ling, it's good that you're back, it's good that you're back. The two Shinsan Hall experts were happier than anyone else at this moment. Because the Shinsan Hall competition would be held soon. With just the two of them, they were afraid that they couldn't support the Snow Wind Academy. Speaking of this, the dean couldn't care about anything else and quickly told them about the competition. To put it bluntly, it was just a proper competition between the 8 major academies, nothing more. But this was related to the honor of each academy. Although the Snow Wind Academy had always been at the bottom, the dean still had hope that the Snow Wind Academy could straighten its back and be awe-inspiring for once. So, she also asked for Lin Ling's help. No problem, this first place, I want it. However, without waiting for the dean to finish speaking, Lin Ling had already agreed. Because he knew that Duan Wuhan would definitely be the first, so how could Lin Ling not interrupt? Secondly, if Lin Ling couldn't make a name for himself, Duan Wuhan wouldn't be able to discover him. And Lin Ling wanted Duan Wuhan to discover him. You agreed? The dean and the others were surprised. They didn't expect Lin Ling to be so straightforward. Yes, it's time for me to make a move. Lin Ling nodded solemnly. His eyes were filled with a strong battle intent. After breaking through to the martial ancestor realm, he had been relatively low-key. But now, he should also take a step forward and let the 36 academies know that he was Lin Ling, including Wen Tian Martial God. He had a feeling that this battle would definitely enter Wen Tian Martial God's eyes. Lin Ling wasn't afraid of this. He dared to become famous in one battle, so naturally, he dared to confront Wen Tian martial god. Because it was time for his battle with Wen Tian martial god to begin. Then let's hurry over, I'm afraid it has already begun. The dean hurriedly said and led Lin Ling and the others out of the hall. At this moment, in the eastern part of Yi Garden, there was a hubbub of voices. A huge 8 trigrams martial stage appeared there, surrounded by 8 small stages, namely Qian, Zhen, Can, Zhen, Kuan, Sun, Li, Dui. Chapter 37:19. The First Battle. Speaking of which, there was no reward for this competition. It was just a test of strength and martial arts exchange. However, the surroundings were still bustling with noise and excitement. The martial artists from East City and other martial artists were all watching. To them, it was extremely rare to see Yi Garden's experts fighting. Duan Wuhan, amazing. Of course, the one who received the most attention was Duan Wuhan. Princess Tian came as a representative of Miao Shen's true inheritance. She is not weak. However, there were also experts on the other stages. There were many people on the stage and they could not see all of them, so most of them stared at the powerful stage. At the Jin stage, there were also a large number of experts sparring. Ironically, the 5 spots of Flicker Academy, except for Ba Shan, were all defeated. As for Snow Academy, the 5 people had not come yet. It was as if it had become a competition between the 6 academies. However, people were not surprised because they were not here for the bottom academies. The experts of those academies were not worth watching. When Lin Ling and the others appeared on the Jin stage, the competition had not started yet. However, what surprised Lin Ling was that there were actually 100 people on the stage. One had to know that the Flicker Academy and the Snow Wind Academy added together only had 10 spots. The other academies have many experts. It is said that the weakest of them is worth more than our strongest, so there are more spots. The dean knew Lin Ling's doubts and immediately explained. It seemed that the difference in the rankings of the various academies could also show their treatment. No matter, 100 people is 100 people. However, Lin Ling did not care. To him, only Duan Wuhan was barely worthy of his attention. Hearing Lin Ling's confident words, the dean and the others' hearts trembled. Lin Ling was so confident. Dean, I won't participate. Me too. The other 2 students of Shan Hall gave up. They knew their strength and they would only lose face if they went up. The dean did not stop them. She also thought so. Brother Ling, we won't go up either. You go. Yu and the others also did not plan to fight because this kind of competition had no meaning. Lin Ling nodded. In fact, if Lin Ling had not come for Duan Wuhan, he would not have participated in this kind of competition. After all, there were no prizes. Yi Garden was too stingy. Duan Wuhan. Next, Lin Ling's eyes were filled with battle intent as he looked at the other side of the martial platform. He knew that this person was there. Duan Wuhan's strength had obviously increased greatly, so Lin Ling also wanted to fight with him to see where his limits were. Next, the dean hurriedly went to register Lin Ling. At this time, Dean Lu of the Flicker Academy also walked over. When he learned that Lin Ling was going to participate in the competition, he immediately shook his head. This kind of martial stage is actually their stage. Our academies at the bottom are at most cannon fodder. Clearly, he did not think highly of Lin Ling. Beside him were the 4 people from the Flicker Academy. They looked at Lin Ling with burning gazes. They obviously hoped that Lin Ling could win, and win beautifully, to tell people that the academies at the bottom also had strong cultivators. The reason why they had such confidence was because of Lin Ling's feat at the Jade Forest Inn. Lin Ling, do your best. Then, they all cheered for Lin Ling. That scene shocked Dean Lu. His own students actually took the initiative to cheer for Lin Ling? What kind of joke was this? He knew that even though Lin Ling had defeated his students, these guys were still not convinced of his strength. Just as he was thinking about it, the yard master had already walked back and registered Lin Ling. Lin Ling also took the jade token that represented his qualification to participate in the competition. He glanced at it lightly. There was a 9 engraved on it. It seemed to be number 9. Lin Ling, it's your turn. At this moment, the dean also spoke, which surprised Lin Ling and the others. So fast. Looking at the martial arts arena, 10 people appeared there. They were wearing all kinds of clothes, obviously from different academies. They all had cold smiles on their faces. Of course, as the host, Garden had the most people, with 5 of them. That was because the first round of the Zhen martial arts arena had just begun. In addition to the large number of people, 10 people were sent out for the first round. It was a chaotic battle. The winner would stay, and the weak would be eliminated. Lin Ling, you must win. The dean immediately nodded at Lin Ling. Lin Ling smiled casually and walked up the stairs to the martial arts arena step by step. It's him. At this moment, someone stared at Lin Ling on the stage. It was the teachers from Garden. Zhen martial arts arena, who's up there? Someone asked coldly. There are a few people, the strongest among them is Honorable Alchemy. Someone looked at the jade slip in his hand and immediately replied. Well, let Honorable Alchemy be the first to eliminate Snow Wind Academy. At present, among the 8 academies, Flicker Academy still has 1 person who hasn't been eliminated, and Snow Wind Academy has 4 people who don't dare to go up. So as long as that kid named Lin Ling is eliminated, Snow Wind Academy will lose face. Haha, he was so arrogant before. Today, we'll make him lose face, and let his academy suffer the same fate. How can Garden be compared to those half-baked academies? Those teachers all sneered and secretly transmitted their voices to each other. At this moment, on the martial arts arena, a young man was eating grapes calmly. Then, he received the voice transmission and was suddenly shocked. It was the teacher's entrustment. This was a great gift. Lin Ling, which idiot is it? He couldn't help but shout at the people on the martial arts arena. Everyone shook their heads. However, someone suddenly pointed at Lin Ling who had just come up and said, it should be him. Huh, what a guy with bad luck. Then he'll be the first to be eliminated. The young man named Honorable Alchemy laughed proudly as he ate grapes in big mouthfuls. Lin Ling had already stepped onto the martial arts arena. He glanced at the crowd and couldn't help but shake his head. But at this moment, a contemptuous voice sounded. You're Lin Ling, right? Huh. Lin Ling frowned. Someone knew him? And it seemed to be someone from Garden. So what if I am? Lin Ling nodded. Do you know how to write the word bad luck? You're really unlucky to have met me. Huh, remember, I'm Honorable Alchemy. You're the first to be eliminated. Don't ask me why, I don't care to say. Honorable Alchemy said while eating grapes. To him, eliminating Lin Ling would earn his teacher's favor and make him famous at the same time. Why wouldn't he do it? As for Lin Ling, he had never heard of him, so he didn't care at all. Huh. Lin Ling was surprised once again. That guy spoke in such a baffling manner. Was he crazy? He could clearly see that the person only had an ultimate desolate body of a 5th grade. He didn't know where he got his confidence from. This is a sparring session. Killing is not allowed. Begin. A referee announced the rules. Following that, the sparring began. Chapter 37:20. IQ Top Up. Lin Ling was also deeply aware of this, but he was too lazy to care. He just wanted to see who would choose him as their opponent. Eliminate him. But at this time, the Pill Venerable suddenly pointed at Lin Ling and shouted angrily. Suddenly, everyone looked at Lin Ling with evil intentions, and some even looked at Lin Ling with a pitiful look. Running away is useless, you must be beaten down by us. As for your name, we don't care. We only know that you are from Snow Wind Academy, and that is enough." A disdainful voice floated out from the martial stage. "What?" Below the martial stage, the Dean and Dean Lu's pupils constricted. They actually joined hands? And the first to eliminate Lin Ling? This was too unfair. Simply shameless. The Dean couldn't help but shout angrily, looking at the referee, but the referee was also afraid of the Dean, so he could only smile bitterly and shake his head. "Who they choose to eliminate is up to the student, we can't do anything about it." "Bastard." The Dean finally scolded. Those who could appear on the martial stage were not weak. Maybe Lin Ling was stronger than them, but they were ganging up on him. This also let her know that someone had bribed the people on the martial stage. On the other side, the E-Garden teacher was laughing very happily. That arrogant brat from before, now he knows how to regret. As the saying goes, 2 fists are no match for 4 hands. The trash from Snow Wind Academy used everyone to gang up on him. This was giving him enough face. Even if he lost happily. The people from E-Garden are too arrogant. The 4 people from Glint Academy also shook their heads. They sensed that the people on the martial stage were not weaker than them, so how could they fight? They never thought that Snow Wind Academy would be the first of the 8 academies to be eliminated. In this way, Snow Wind Academy would lose face. However, compared to the complicated emotions of the crowd, Yu Yu and Xian Yuan Gu were very calm. "They are just sheep," Yu Yu said calmly. "That's right. Even if we work together, we'll just be a herd of sheep." Xian Yuan Gu nodded. On the stage, Pill Sovereign was still eating grapes. In fact, he had bought everyone here with a large sum of money. After all, there were no rewards for the competition, so not everyone was willing to work hard. On the contrary, they were willing to admit defeat if someone paid them. And as long as the Snow Wind Academy was eliminated, everyone would admit defeat. In this way, the Honorable Dan would smoothly pass the first battle. He was going to become a seated contestant of this martial stage. Moreover, his father was a true disciple of Miao Shen's world spiritist deity. He did not have much, but he had a lot of money. Hee, time's up. Finally, the Pill Sovereign ate another grape. Those people finally pounced on Lin Ling. Lin Ling shook his head. "I didn't expect you to have such a trashy method. But it's a pity that you met me. No matter how many people there are, they are just sheep. In the face of a wolf, it's not much use." After saying that, Lin Ling summoned the evil ghost jellyfish. Countless jellyfish wandered around the martial stage. And with the help of the evil ghost jellyfish, Lin Ling also pounced forward, the power of his god-devil body erupting. Bang bang bang. Lin Ling was like a siege car, advancing by leaps and bounds. Everywhere he passed, people were blown out of the martial stage like scattered flowers. The scene was extremely spectacular. At this moment, the Dean and the others were all staring with their eyes wide open. This attack was too violent. What? The remaining people on the martial stage were all shocked and had no choice but to be serious. Someone tried to approach Lin Ling for a sneak attack, but as soon as he got close, a sword suddenly appeared and pointed sharply at him. "Get off the martial stage yourself." Lin Ling didn't even look at that person as he said indifferently. These swords were the true dark swords. They automatically protected their master and were not something that these weaklings could resist. Okay. With so many swords pointed at him, that person was obviously frightened and left the martial stage with a pale face. "Yes, get lost," Lin Ling said seriously. "Get lost like a ball?" That person smiled bitterly and then rolled off the martial stage like a ball. Ha ha ha. The 4 people from Flicker Academy immediately laughed. He was the most humiliating loser. Pop. 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 Lin Ling's attacks didn't stop. He was like a mad dragon sweeping through the sea. In the end, everyone on the martial stage was defeated or sent flying. Only the Sovereign of Pills was left. He was still eating grapes, but he couldn't swallow any more. How could it be like this? He shook his head blankly, his face pale. In his imagination, everyone would admit defeat to him and he would proudly win the first round. Then, he would defeat the others and become a seeded contestant, making a name for himself in the 36 academies. In this way, his father would be proud of him. However, the drastic change was that not a single person had been eliminated, but he was the one who had lost. Huh, you're arrogant and shameless. Now, let's see what happens next. Trash, you're not strong enough, so you rely on others. I don't believe you can win in the end. The 4 people from Flicker Academy couldn't help but curse. As for the teachers in the distance, they were so angry that their faces turned black. They didn't expect Honorable Alchemy to be so useless, and they didn't expect Lin Ling to be so powerful. Originally, they wanted to embarrass Wind Academy, but now, Wind Academy had become a little famous. You, get lost immediately and admit defeat. Otherwise, I'll make you regret it for the rest of your life. Do you know who my father is? In the face of everyone's mockery, Honorable Alchemy stopped eating grapes and shouted at Lin Ling angrily. You know, people can recharge. For example, you should recharge something. Lin Ling couldn't help but shake his head. He really admired this guy. Did he rely on his father to get to where he was now? What recharge? I don't understand. Besides, what should I recharge? Honorable Alchemy asked subconsciously. You should recharge your IQ. Everything below your head is considered human, but your body is like a pig's brain. Lin Ling said indifferently. How dare you laugh at me? You're dead. You're dead. Honorable Alchemy was stunned and shouted loudly. However, Lin Ling moved and appeared in front of Honorable Alchemy. He punched Honorable Alchemy in the stomach and made him spit out the grapes he had been eating. Then, he flew off the stage like a kite with a broken string. He was completely eliminated. Wind Academy's Lin Ling wins. At the same time, the referee announced calmly. I've lost. I've fucking lost. How is this possible? On the ground, Honorable Alchemy was still spitting out grape juice. He then looked angrily at the referee and said, Referee, I'm from E Academy. I haven't lost yet. How dare you judge me to lose? Be careful, my father will settle the score with you. As soon as he said this, there was a lot of laughter around the stage. For the sake of fairness, the referee wasn't from the major academies, but from the gods. He was a 9th grade divine paladin. A mere piece of trash dared to threaten a 9th grade divine paladin? Wasn't he courting death? Chapter 37:21. Don't get off the stage. Get lost. The referee slapped Senior Dan heavily to the ground, and the bunch of grapes in his hand were smashed into a meat patty. E-Garden, are they all a bunch of idiots? The referee said disdainfully. These words were undoubtedly overturning all boats, making E-Garden lose a lot of face. This trash. The teachers of E-Garden suddenly felt like digging a hole in the ground and burrowing into it. Whose student is this? How can he be so retarded to become a top expert of Shinsan Hall? It's really a disgrace to us. Senior Dan, expel him tomorrow. He must have relied on his father to enter E-Garden. His teacher must also be severely punished. Not only did E-Garden lose face, but even the teacher behind Senior Dan was also unlucky. In the direction of the Jin stage, many people were also staring at Lin Ling. The deans and teachers of the major academies narrowed their eyes. Snow Wind Academy, this time, an expert had come. Referee, can I not get off the stage? At this time, Lin Ling suddenly said indifferently. This, what do you mean? The referee frowned and looked suspiciously at Lin Ling. The teachers of E-Garden, the dean of Snow Wind Academy, and Dean Lu were also the same. In this Jin martial platform, I'm still number 1. I'm a seated contestant, so to avoid trouble, I don't plan to go down. Let the warriors of this martial platform fight me. Lin Ling said. What? The referee was shocked. Moreover, it doesn't matter if it's a war of attrition or a sea of people. Lin Ling said again. Crazy. Who is this person? He actually dares to threaten to occupy the Jin stage. Does he think that our E-Garden doesn't exist? Not to mention E-Garden, even our Heavenly Pill Academy is treated as non-existent by him. Lin Ling's words undoubtedly caused a huge uproar, and the people of the major academies were furious. However, Lin Ling turned a blind eye to it and looked to the other side. On the distant martial stage, there was also a fierce battle going on. Perhaps Duan Wuhan was there. Lin Ling and Duan Wuhan would have a battle sooner or later, so Lin Ling did not intend to waste time. He even wanted to cause a sensation. He wanted Duan Wuhan to see him, including Yi Cheng. In this way, the city lord of Yi City would come, and the show would officially begin. However, at present, the 8 martial stages were far away from each other. Coupled with the large number of people, Duan Wuhan and the others did not notice the Zhen word stage. That's possible, but it depends on whether they agree or not. After all, I'm only a referee, but the ones fighting are the experts of the various academies. The referee suddenly said after recovering from his shock. They will agree. Lin Ling chuckled. He glanced at the side of the stage and shouted calmly, "You trash. Losers. If you don't agree, come and fight me." What? Trash? How dare you? You're only an early stage martial progenitor. Although you're quite capable, do you really think that you can defeat over 90 people? The experts from the various academies were furious. The referee sucked in a breath of cold air. Originally, Lin Ling did not need to fight so many people. He only needed to compete with them. However, in order to quickly end the battle, Lin Ling chose to fight more than 90 experts. It had to be said that this move greatly despised the experts of the various academies. Especially the teachers of E-Garden. They were the hosts. Now, Lin Ling was more like the host. I agree. I agree too. Next, many experts who were going to fight nodded. For them, it was more important to get rid of Lin Ling first. Then, according to the method of drawing lots, 10 people would fight. These 10 people were from other academies, but Lin Ling's luck was good because there were not many experts from E-Garden this time. Although among the 8 academies, other than Snow Wind Academy and Flicker Academy, the other academies had many experts, there was no doubt that as the host, E-Garden had the most experts. The first time he fought 10 people in a row, he could say that he defeated them because he caught them off guard. But the second time, he won't be able to take advantage of them. Humph, even if he won by luck, he's definitely exhausted. Let's see how he's going to fight the third round. This time, we must slap Snow Wind Academy's face. Looking at the 10 fierce people, the teachers of E-Garden sneered. At this moment, on the martial arts platform, Lin Ling had his hands behind his back and looked at the 10 people calmly. Then, he was a little surprised because a few of them looked familiar. Begin. At the same time, the referee's shout was heard. Experts of the third hall, for your dignity, you must defeat him ruthlessly. Make your move. Just as the referee's voice fell, the teachers also spoke. They stood up excitedly, looking forward to the fierce siege. 1 person against 10 people, and this was the second time. They didn't think that Lin Ling could win again. On the martial arts platform, the atmosphere gradually became oppressive. Even the dean and the others clenched their fists, incomparably nervous. In fact, they didn't know why Lin Ling chose to fight 100 people, but Lin Ling had already made his decision, so they could only pray that Lin Ling could win, and even if he lost, it wouldn't be too shameful. Lin Ling's previous words were full of contempt. I'm afraid this battle will be very fierce. Dean Lu said solemnly. Admit defeat. I also admit defeat. Damn it, I don't want to fight anymore. However, on the martial arts platform, a voice suddenly sounded in unison. The 10 people instantly withdrew their powerful momentum and admitted defeat one by one. What's going on? The people around the martial arts platform were all dumbfounded. They didn't even fight and they admitted defeat? Zhang Wudi, what are you doing? A teacher from the academy shouted angrily as if he expected better from Zhang Wudi. However, the people on the martial arts platform didn't pay attention to the teacher at all. Instead, they walked politely towards Lin Ling, and then bowed together. Big brother Lin Ling. When the voice floated out, everyone's mouths all turned into an O shape. Admitting defeat was one thing, but they even called him Big Brother? You can leave now. Lin Ling also nodded, and then, under everyone's astonished gaze, the 10 people all left. Just like that, Lin Ling easily eliminated 20 people. Next round, let's have something more powerful. Lin Ling's casual voice floated out at the same time. His voice was full of sarcasm. As for the referee, he was stunned for a moment, then immediately announced the third round. No one knew if Lin Ling's luck had run out, because at the beginning of the third round, the 10 people were all from the same academy, and this academy was ranked 17th among the 36 academies, called 7 Mile Academy. Most importantly, the experts of this academy were very proud. Even when facing the experts of E-Garden, they didn't take a step back. My luck has run out. Haha. Chapter 37-22. Admit defeat together. In the past, I always thought that the 7 Mile Academy was disgusting, but for some reason, I think it's cute today. Those fellows are very stubborn. Yesterday, during the forum discussion, their arrogance soared to the sky. Now that trash from the Snow Wind Academy killed a boatload of people with one strike, with the pride of the 7 Mile Academy, they will definitely not let him off. 7 Mile Academy, I suddenly like them. After the competition ends, I, Teacher Lu, will treat them to a drink. Compared to the smugness of the E-Garden's teachers, the expressions of the 4 from the Flicker Academy changed. It's the 7 Mile Academy's students. It's over. Those fellows don't care about family. Brother Lin Ling is in danger. Are they very powerful? The 2 students from the Snow Wind Academy immediately asked with a frown. They aren't powerful, but it's mainly their personalities. They can't bear to be provoked. Besides, they are unafraid of death. They even dare to fight with gods. In all the dangerous places in the universe, there's no place they don't dare to go. It's said that not long ago, many people from their academy returned from a mystic realm with their strength greatly increased. I think that mystic realm is called the Black Gold Castle. It's over. It's over. Brother Lin Ling's words previously hooted everyone. He is now in danger. After a round of discussion, they felt that things were not looking good. As for Yu and company, they frowned. The people on the stage were all stronger than Ba Shan. Their ancestral power was extremely terrifying. And although Ba Shan's talent was high, reaching the 7th grade ultimate desolate body, his talent had a huge flaw. That was that it had no offensive power. Yu, don't you find those people familiar? However, Xian Yuan Gu suddenly frowned. In the Black Gold Castle, she and Yu were besieged. At that time, they had fought many people, so they suddenly felt that they had seen those people somewhere before. Yu nodded, I have the same feeling. At this moment, 10 people were standing quietly on the stage. They were wearing white robes and hats. They did not even look at Lin Ling. Kid, admit defeat yourself. Someone finally spoke. Lin Ling's gaze swept across them and found that they were much stronger. They were late-stage martial ancestors and all of them were 6th grade talents. Furthermore, their ancestral power was not weak. Clang! Lin Ling pulled out the sword in his hand. If you want me to admit defeat, ask the sword in my hand first. Kid, I have to say that you're really ignorant. You don't know the name of our 7 Mile Academy. To put it bluntly, we're a gathering place of martial arts fanatics. To put it bluntly, we're a gathering place of paranoia. Whoever is stronger, will challenge them. Even if we can't beat them, we won't retreat. The more dangerous the place is, the more we will go there. Bigots. This was indeed the best way to describe it. Let me tell you, the 10 of us just came out from a dangerous secret territory. Although there was a 90% chance of survival, we still did not retreat, and the heavens are fair. If you put in effort, you will be rewarded. Right now, our strength has greatly increased, and you are from the Snow Wind Academy, right? If I remember correctly, in your academy's Shinsan Hall, the strongest is Kagura, but unfortunately, we have already surpassed her, and the reason is because of that secret territory. The 10 people were still wearing their hats, giving them a mysterious feeling. In fact, people did feel that they were very mysterious. Perhaps, the unknown was the most dangerous. Kagura. Lin Ling's eyes lit up. He had felt that it was strange because Kagura was not weak in the 8 gods' heavenly palace. Now, there were 10 people who were not weaker than her. This did not make sense. But now, Lin Ling understood. It turned out that these 10 people had obtained great opportunities and their strength had greatly increased. You must be very surprised. Hearing Lin Ling mention Kagura, another person said, however, you will be surprised later because you may not know that Kagura is already dead. We also know who killed Kagura. In the final world, there are not many people who know this secret. There is always someone better than you. Using Kagura's death to climb up, boy, I'm afraid your strength is only so-so. Alright, I've said what needs to be said. If you understand, then you understand. If you don't, then we will make you understand. As the words fell, the 10 people finally took off their hats and a powerful aura erupted at the same time. The martial stage shook. The faces of the surrounding people all turned serious, and the teacher of E-Garden couldn't help but laugh out loud. I really don't know what you are talking about. But speaking of Kagura, I'm sorry, I am more familiar with them than you. Now, let's fight. Lin Ling activated the ancestral power of the Tyrant Song sword. Murderous and demonic aura shook and then shot toward the 10 people. You overestimate yourself. The 10 people finally looked at Lin Ling with a domineering look in their eyes. However, this domineering aura was very strong at first, but it gradually converged and disappeared without a trace. They looked at the young man who pounced on them and their pupils trembled. Especially when their eyes fell on the sword, their bodies began to tremble. Xiongda, that's a big sword. Did you see it? I saw it, I saw it. Although the guy in the black gold castle turned into a monster and no one could see his appearance clearly, I remember that he had a big sword in his hand. Moreover, there were runes on the sword. I remember some of the runes very clearly. Not good, that big sword is the one in the black gold castle. Oh my god, could it be that he is that monster? I think it's most likely. Kagura was killed by him. Fuck, I actually cheered Kagura up in front of him. Seeing Lin Ling pounce on them, the 10 people trembled even more. Plop. Then, under countless shocked gazes, the 10 people all knelt down. We admit defeat. As soon as the voices were heard, the surroundings of the ring fell silent. Even the people on the other rings finally cast their gazes toward them. After all, the scene of 10 experts in white robes kneeling down at the same time was quite spectacular. As soon as the words admit defeat were uttered, the eyes of the teachers of E-Garden almost fell out. Aren't these guys paranoid? Aren't they the stronger they are, the more dangerous they will be? Why are they admitting defeat at the same time? Lin Ling's sword stopped in front of one of the people's neck. He frowned as he had no idea what these people were up to. We admit defeat, we admit defeat. The 10 people did not even dare to look at Lin Ling. Although they were paranoid, they had witnessed how terrifying Lin Ling was in the Black Gold Castle. He had fought against 10 academies alone, summoned the evil spirits, and even fought against a half-martial god realm expert. In the end, The heavens had no choice but to subdue this monster by sending a calamity and bringing him into the ancient coffin. However, a monster was indeed a monster. He had escaped from the ancient coffin. When a paranoid person met such a monstrous monster, any paranoid person would be scared to the point of dispersing into ashes. We admit defeat. Chapter 37-23. Sweeping the martial stage. After admitting defeat, the 10 people quickly left the martial stage and disappeared into the crowd. They ran faster than they had imagined. Even the referee was dumbfounded. He thought that there would be a big battle. In the end, the thunder was loud but the rain was small. Lin Ling wins. Then, he had no choice but to announce Lin Ling's result. In this way, Lin Ling had eliminated 30 people. Such a fast speed caused people from the various martial stages to look over and they were all shocked. Because until now, the other martial stages had only fought less than 10 rounds and only a dozen people had been eliminated. However, the Tremor martial stage had eliminated 30 people in a short period of time. The speed was lightning. Most importantly, from the beginning to the end, it seemed that only one person had taken action. Pa. As for the teachers of E-Garden, their faces seemed to have been slapped silently. They were slapped until their noses were crooked. Because Lin Ling had already won 30 rounds in a row. Except for the first 10 people, the rest had all admitted defeat. This guy must have cheated and bribed those people. They really couldn't think of a reason, so they could only curse. But it was useless because Lin Ling was still challenging. Referee, let the next 70 people go on stage at the same time. Moreover, Lin Ling was crazy again and again, planning to amaze the world with a single feat because he still hadn't found Duan Wuhan. He knew that his battle was not sensational enough. 70 people at once? The referee didn't expect Lin Ling to be even more domineering than before. That's right, it's not that I'm looking down on them, but they are indeed a bunch of trash. In order to infuriate his opponents, Lin Ling was not polite with his words. This depends on whether they agree or not. The referee could only look at the people who were about to fight. Among the people who were about to fight, those who had been to the 8 gods' heavenly palace did not dare to fight, and even told their friends and family not to fight. On the contrary, those who did not know Lin Ling were furious. They were not afraid of Lin Ling, because from the beginning to the end, they did not see Lin Ling make a move. On the contrary, Lin Ling relied on his mouth to easily defeat 30 people. However, before they could speak, those who had been to the 8 gods' heavenly palace immediately forfeited. Judge, I forfeit this Jin martial platform. It's just an exchange of pointers. It makes no difference whether we fight or not. I forfeit as well. In just a short period of time, 20 people had given up. All forfeit? Their decision was earth-shattering. It was like a stone that caused 1,000 ripples. This was because Lin Ling had acted arrogantly once again. Everyone thought that the remaining people would be enraged and join forces to eliminate Lin Ling. However, in the end, there were 20 people who did not even dare to enter the arena and directly admitted defeat. This kind of change felt like a dream. Cheating, they must have cheated. I never thought that the Snow Wind Academy would be so shameless just to become famous. A garden teacher could not help but stand up and scold. You shut up. However, these words angered the principal. She glared at them with her tiger-like eyes and was imposing without being angry. Why didn't you say anything when someone from your garden bribed their opponent? Now that our students have successfully eliminated their opponent, you say they cheated? Do you have any evidence? Although the Snow Wind Academy could not be compared to the garden, the principal was not weak. She pointed at those teachers and scolded them. Principal, please calm down. This. How could those teachers have any evidence? If you don't have evidence, then it's slander. All of you, give yourselves 3 slaps. Otherwise, don't blame me for being impolite. The principal shouted again. She was not even afraid of the garden's principal, so why would she be afraid of those teachers? If not for her seniority, she would have already taken action herself. Okay, I'll slap you. Those teachers did not dare to offend the principal and began to slap their own faces. Slap, slap, slap. The sound was crisp and clear, attracting even more people's attention. No one expected that the exchange of pointers in the academy would cause the teachers to slap their own faces. It was really comical. As a result, even more people were looking at the tremor stage. That guy seems to be called Lin Ling, right? He's really arrogant. Newborn calves aren't afraid of tigers. Lin Ling? This name sounds familiar. Could it be him? That's impossible. He just entered the Shinsan Hall. You've heard of this name before? He's from the God Slayer Alliance. He's the first junior to reach the 9th floor in the Tongshan Tower. It's actually him. Without a doubt, Lin Ling's name began to spread. Speaking of the Tongshan Tower, people's first impression was naturally Snow Wind Academy's Lin Ling. God Slayer Alliance. As for the E-Garden's martial artists who were watching the battle, their eyes quietly narrowed. If they did not remember wrongly, E-City was going all out to arrest young Demon Lord and Mo Z of the God Slayer Alliance. Why was there another person from the God Slayer Alliance here? Go and inform the City Lord. At the same time, investigate this Lin Ling's identity in the God Slayer Alliance. Also, find out where he went yesterday. Someone quietly transmitted his voice, causing even more people to leave quietly to investigate in secret. E-City clearly had more clues about the robbery of the execution ground. If the guards of the execution ground were to come, then they would be able to see if Lin Ling was the person who robbed the execution ground. However, they did not know that all of this was the effect that Lin Ling wanted. After all, if the City Lord of E-City did not come, who would slap Duan Wuhan's face at that time? Looking at the martial stage again, there were now 40 people gathered. It could be seen that Lin Ling's bombing this time had made everyone unhappy. And 40 people appeared on the martial stage at the same time. It had to be said that it was a unique scene among the 8 martial stages. Hey, what's going on over there? I heard that a student from the Snow Wind Academy wants to sweep the entire martial stage by himself. Snow Wind Academy? So arrogant. I thought that today's martial stage was Duan Wuhan and E-Gardens. One person against 40 people, what a big tone. What's that guy's name? More and more people were paying attention to the martial stage. In contrast, the dean of the Snow Wind Academy was also shocked, and a sense of pride suddenly arose spontaneously. Their Snow Wind Academy had not been so proud in the final world for many years. Snow Wind Academy. At this moment, on the Earth stage, there were also people who were paying attention to Lin Ling. A woman frowned slightly and raised her neck to look over, but because of the distance and the sea of people, she could not see clearly. She could only ask the people around her. And the result was that it was Lin Ling from the Snow Wind Academy. Lin Ling? Lin Ling? The woman's face changed, and her heart suddenly became a little nervous. And she was Princess Tian. Impossible, I saw Lin Ling die in the Platinum Hall with my own eyes. How did he come back to life? It must be a rumor. But soon, Princess Tian shook her head again. She thought it was a coincidence that she met someone with the same name and from the same academy. Chapter 37-24. Display of Strength. After that, she shook her head and ignored the battle. In her opinion, it was a joke for one person to fight 40 people. It might be possible if it was Duan Wuhan or Zhou Jun, but the others were just trash. Brother Zhou Jun, it's your turn to fight. She then looked at her martial ring and said with a smile. Princess Tian, I'll win for you. Next to her, a heroic young man with an extraordinary bearing smiled gently at her. This person was a master of the E-Garden's 3rd hall. Although he wasn't the strongest, he was the strongest in this competition. He was qualified to have a fierce battle with Duan Wuhen. Most importantly, this person had been pursuing the Heavenly Princess. For this reason, the Heavenly Princess had come to the Garden to watch this battle. The young man smiled and stepped into the void, appearing on the martial ring in the blink of an eye. With his identity and strength, he should have been the focus of attention, but the sudden appearance of the alien star on the other side had snatched most of the attention away from him. The battle on the other side was Lin Ling's battle against 40 people. No one thought that Lin Ling could win. Most of them thought that Lin Ling had lost his mind. If 40 people joined forces, Lin Ling might be killed, as there were too many people to control their moves. Therefore, most of them wanted to see how long it would take for Lin Ling to be defeated. I think it will take an incense stick's worth of time. An incense stick's worth of time? You overestimate him. 40 people, all of them experts from the third hall. You should know that none of the participants are weak. In my opinion, that arrogant guy Lin will be defeated in 10 breaths' time. I think so too. The crowd discussed fervently. On the martial ring, the 40 people looked ferocious. After defeating all of you, there are only 10 people left. I'm not disappointed by the speed of the battle. However, Lin Ling rested his sword on his shoulder and nodded calmly. His reaction was like adding fuel to the fire. 40 of them had gone up the stage, but this person was still calm. A mere second-layer martial progenitor, not to mention that he was from the Snow Wind Institute. They could not help but wonder what made him so confident. You're going to lose, you're definitely going to lose. Now, it's time for you to pay a heavy price. One of them was impulsive and released all his strength. He immediately used the ultimate 6th-grade desolate body. In the sky above the martial platform, a gigantic blood crocodile appeared, stirring up the wind and clouds. And in front of Lin Ling, a huge pair of scissors pounced over like the mouth of a crocodile, wanting to cut Lin Ling in half. This person did not hold back at all when he attacked. He was completely trying to kill Lin Ling. Perhaps he also wanted to use this battle to make a name for himself. Let me show you my green wave divine shears. However, it had to be said that this person's methods were indeed powerful. He was even more powerful than Ning Bo Tao in the past. It was as if the sky had been cut open. Seeing this, Lin Ling smiled, pointed his tyrannical song sword forward, and pounced. Rumble. A blade and an arrow collided in an instant. The sky above Garden began to sway, and a terrifying astral wind swept out from all directions. Everyone drew in a breath of cold air. They had always thought that the Snow Wind Academy student only relied on despicable means. But now, they saw that the student was not weak. This was because in the middle of the huge martial platform, 2 figures were clashing. Their clothes were flapping violently, and they were actually evenly matched. One had to know that the expert who used the blood crocodile shears was not a nobody. He was an expert ranked 430th on the God Roll's stairway to heaven. That's it? While everyone was silent, Lin Ling suddenly spoke. That's it? This sentence carried a tinge of disappointment. It was as if the blood crocodile arrow was too weak, causing Lin Ling to be extremely disappointed. As for the expert who was clashing with Lin Ling, his expression froze. Following that, earthworm-like veins began to appear. He was angry. Without a doubt, Lin Ling's words attracted even more attention. If I use my true strength, you will be cut in half by the scissors. The expert roared angrily. Behind him, a bloody light soared into the sky as he roared, "Kill life calamity." A terrifying thing happened. Another huge pair of scissors appeared and shot towards Lin Ling's waist like an arrow. And when this pair of scissors appeared, it was as if another blood crocodile had appeared. These blood crocodiles' talent strengthened the expert's critical strike power. Therefore, if one was hit by his scissors, even if they did not die, they would still be injured. I hope you won't disappoint me again. However, Lin Ling smiled faintly. 18 true inheritance nether swords appeared. 9 swords appeared in each direction and clashed with the blood-red scissors. Clang. A deafening sound continued to resound. The scissors were blocked once again. And Lin Ling helplessly shook his head. That's it? It was still the same sentence, filled with endless disappointment. What, your ancestral power has also reached 50%? As for the expert, he finally realized how terrifying Lin Ling was. The sword in Lin Ling's hand and the immortal sword that flew out both had ancestral power. Moreover, it was two different kinds of ancestral power. As for the help brought by his own talent, it seemed to have no effect on Lin Ling. How could he know that although Lin Ling did not erupt with his talent, he had 6 dantians in his body? His godly devil body had reached a terrifying limit. His body was comparable to tens of thousands of worlds. Is it strange that I have ancestral power? Lin Ling suddenly laughed. Impossible, if you are really so strong, you should have some fame in the 36th college. The expert kept shaking his head. What you said is exactly what I want to do now. If I defeat you, then I will have some fame. Lin Ling's smile became more and more brilliant. Tyrannical Song Sword rushed out terrifying demonic chi. Lose. He shouted and raised his sword diagonally. A half-moon wave rushed into the sky. Kacha. The huge pair of scissors let out an ear-piercing sound and then shattered like glass. The expert was tongue-tied and his mouth was wide open. Are you the one who admitted defeat? Or am I the one who beat you to admit defeat? Lin Ling held the big sword and said with a smile. I admit defeat. The expert was stunned and left dejectedly. On the martial stage, the remaining people looked at Lin Ling solemnly. Now, Lin Ling finally showed his strength for the first time. However, his strength was not weak. Next, are you going to come one by one? Or do you want to come together? Lin Ling looked at the crowd and said, I personally mind that it is better for all of you to come together. Because it saves time. This sentence undoubtedly provoked everyone's anger again. Although Lin Ling's strength was not weak, they had so many people. How could it be Lin Ling's turn to be arrogant? This is what you said. Everyone burst out with all their strength. Seeing this, Lin Ling's eyes flashed and the true inheritance nether sword shot out, forming flying swords that filled the sky. Whoosh! Whoosh! Looking from afar, the scene was extremely spectacular, as if a sword immortal was alive. However, Lin Ling did not stop. Countless evil spirit jellyfish also flew out from his body. Chapter 37:25. A sudden change occurred. Time and space divine steel. Chaos I. Illusion god true inheritance. Great sun calamity destroying bow. All sorts of powerful techniques were activated by Lin Ling. The entire stage seemed to have turned into Lin Ling's world, attracting countless gazes. This Snow Wind Academy's student is actually so strong? No one had expected that when Lin Ling erupted with all his strength, his combat strength would be so terrifying. As for the 39 people on the martial platform, their hearts all trembled. They, who were originally confident, felt a great deal of pressure. Clang! Clang! Bang! 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 Rumble. The various techniques collided and the entire martial platform was constantly swaying. It was the most intense of the 8 martial platforms. This time, all the gazes of the 8 martial platforms were finally locked onto the Jin stage. I never thought that the Jin stage would have such a moment. It's truly glorious. Today, our Snow Wind Academy is proud of Lin Ling. The dean's eyes flickered with incomparable excitement. Beside him, Dean Liu revealed an envious expression. If only the Flicker Academy had such a student. This was also the time for the Flicker Academy to regain its glory. Looking at his 4 students, they were even more excited than the people of the Snow Wind Academy. The corners of their mouths cracked as they continuously cheered for Lin Ling. On the other hand, Yu Yu and the others' reactions were very normal. That was because they knew that before Lin Ling had broken through, he could already defeat these experts, let alone now. However, there would always be exceptions to everything. Just as everyone was shocked by Lin Ling's tyranny, Lin Ling's aura suddenly weakened. The sword's flying speed slowed down. The illusion god true inheritance seemed as if it would collapse at any moment. The time and space divine steel's attack was greatly reduced. All sorts of techniques seemed to have changed. It's the influence of my domain, ha ha ha. The experts on the martial platforms suddenly became excited as if they had been injected with chicken blood. An expert with a domain talent even shouted excitedly. Because Lin Ling's aura had weakened, bullshit. He's the one who forced himself to use these forbidden techniques, which is beyond what he can bear. That's why the side effects are here. Ha ha ha, Lin Ling, oh Lin Ling, are you stupid? For the sake of fame, you're actually risking your life. Come and hit me. Come and hit me. Those experts who were previously suppressed by Lin Ling were now able to hold their heads high. The situation of the battle had suddenly changed 180 degrees. Countless people were shocked. The teachers of E-Garden were all stunned. Then, they looked at each other and burst into laughter. Their laughter was extremely loud. Just like the students of the various academies, they'd been suppressed for too long. It was even to the extent that they were even more aggrieved than the students of the various academies. Because they were the hosts in the end, so how could they watch as the disciples of others acted arrogantly here? They instantly guessed that Lin Ling had used all kinds of powerful methods in order to become famous. Now, the side effects were coming. Because Lin Ling's true inheritance, the Nether Sword, the evil ghost jellyfish and other methods had consumed a lot of realm essence. How could Lin Ling, who was only at the initial stage of martial ancestor realm, have enough realm essence to support himself? Despicable, Snow Wind Academy is really lowly. In order to win, they actually let a student use up his entire life's potential. Unfortunately, evil can't win over good. What should be lost will still be lost. A teacher from E-Garden stood up and said proudly. His words also made many people react. No wonder they felt that Lin Ling's aura had weakened. It turned out that the side effects were coming. At this moment, many teachers from other academies also laughed. They had rules and didn't want to see Snow Wind Academy suddenly rise and step on their heads. As for Snow Wind Academy and Flicker Academy, their eyes widened. What's going on? Previously, Lin Ling was clearly about to defeat those experts. Why did his aura and attack suddenly weaken? Could it be that Lin Ling was indeed forcefully using those powerful methods and now the side effects are coming out? The dean also frowned, his face was filled with uneasiness. It seems like that's the case. Because Lin Ling's methods consume a lot of realm essence and energy. His realm essence can't last for so long. Dean Lu nodded his head seriously and then let out a long sigh. Lin Ling, in the end, still lost. Hearing their words, the students of the two academies also had a look of regret. They suddenly looked at Yu Yu and someone said, "Senior sister Yu Yu, you don't have to be disappointed. Brother Lin Ling was able to reach such a height and attract everyone's attention. He should be proud. Although he lost this time, in the next round, Brother Lin Ling will definitely be able to wash away the previous humiliation." They also thought that Lin Ling was about to lose. However, Yu Yu and the others frowned. It didn't seem possible. They were the only ones who knew how terrifying Lin Ling's realm essence was. It was almost endless. Yu Yu also knew that Lin Ling had 6 stanchions. How could he possibly run out of realm essence, unless his opponent was a half-martial god? That's strange, Brother Ling shouldn't be this weak. Unless... The two girls exchanged glances with one another and guessed the thoughts in each other's eyes. Unless Lin Ling was doing it on purpose. As a matter of fact, Lin Ling was not doing it on purpose. However, he had indeed weakened his attacks on purpose, as he realized that he was about to have a breakthrough again. Under the powerful attacks of the experts, he had a strong feeling that he was about to have a breakthrough. As such, he was planning to use the attacks of the experts to achieve the third-layer martial progenitor realm. The third-layer martial progenitor realm, the peak of the early-stage martial progenitor realm. Once he achieved it, Lin Ling's strength would increase by 70 to 80%. However, Lin Ling did not weaken his attacks. Instead, he unleashed more demonic jellyfish, allowing them to devour the attacks of his opponents. The reason being that the breakthrough required the support of cultivation resources, and the demonic jellyfish were able to devour various forces, which were equivalent to countless monarch crystals. Lin Ling, why are you so weak? Someone uttered a hollow laugh as he flicked his finger, firing countless giant arrows at Qin Nan. However, countless malevolent ghost jellyfish entangled the arrows, and a large number of jellyfish were killed. In the end, the giant arrows were also crazily bitten and devoured. Finally, all the giant arrows were dissolved. Although it was an impressive sight, in the eyes of the crowd, Lin Ling was only putting up a last-ditch effort. Furthermore, they were aware that although the demonic jellyfish were terrifying, they could only defend themselves instead of attacking. That's quite impressive. Someone uttered a disdainful laugh and stopped attacking, as he was enjoying Lin Ling's weakened state. Weren't you quite arrogant before? Look at you now, you're as weak as a chicken. Don't you feel that your previous words are like a slap to your own face? Lin Ling, kneel down and admit your defeat. The last person of the Snow Wind Academy will surely be eliminated. Following this, more people began to yell. They were aware that the battle had attracted the attention of the crowd, causing them to straighten their backs proudly. Chapter 37-26. The Prelude to the Great Battle. All of you only have this bit of strength. Too weak, too useless. Did you not eat? However, Lin Ling remained standing under everyone's gaze. His disdainful voice floated out. He sensed that he was still lacking a bit of strength from breaking through. What was most despicable was that these people had stopped and were looking at him with admiration. Were they crazy? What did you say? Upon hearing Lin Ling's words, these people were stunned. Their suppressed anger burned once again. They thought that Lin Ling would back off and kneel down to beg for mercy, but who knew that Lin Ling's mouth remained arrogant? He did not lower his head. I'm talking about all of you. Lin Ling bellowed once again. He pointed at a person and said, such a weak attack that doesn't even reach 60% of ancestral power. How did you cultivate it? You've wasted all your efforts on cultivating. And you have a 7th grade ultimate desolate body, but you can't even use it. I really feel embarrassed for you. Could it be that you are the reincarnation of a turtle? Don't laugh, because there's still you. You are just here to make up the numbers. Your talent is not strong, and your ancestral power is not strong. All you rely on is the divine artifact in your hand. A trash like you will never go far. Curses came out of Lin Ling's mouth. Anger. All the experts were so angry that their noses were crooked. Too arrogant. Too venomous. Don't be angry. The path of martial arts is vast and boundless. To be angry over such a trivial matter, it looks like your foundations are not stable. However, even though the experts were angry, Lin Ling took the opportunity to reprimand them. This is infuriating. Fellow allies, I can't take it anymore. I don't appreciate his miserable state. I want to teach him a lesson. Someone's hair stood on end from anger. He could no longer take it and immediately attacked. Rumble. A gigantic flaming cauldron fell from the sky. It was more powerful than Lin Ling's spacetime divine monument. This was the Flaming God Cauldron, a legendary cauldron left behind by a god. After it came crashing down, the martial platform began to burn. Clang. 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 The 18 true inheritance nether swords began to appear. They rushed into the sky and blocked the flaming cauldron from smashing down. However, everyone could see that this was just a mantis trying to stop a chariot. Lin Ling, say it again. Seeing that Lin Ling was about to be suppressed, the expert roared. He seemed to have lost his mind. From this, it could be seen how seriously he was angered by Lin Ling. Bang! However, Lin Ling raised his hands to the sky and actually blocked the descending flaming cauldron. However, the rolling flames also burned him, making him look like a phoenix bathing in a volcano. He's going to lose. Many people shook their heads when they saw Lin Ling's aura weaken. This was because they could clearly see that Lin Ling's expression had turned serious. This meant that Lin Ling had indeed reached his limit. Perhaps after the time it took for 3 incense sticks to burn, Lin Ling would be suppressed. It was even possible after the time it takes for an incense stick to burn. Too weak. Didn't you eat? Please increase your strength. However, Lin Ling finally opened his mouth. His words were earth-shattering. Because Lin Ling was clearly going to be defeated and he actually said that he was weak. What? You're talking about me? Damn it. The expert who attacked was stunned. He was so angry that veins popped out on his face. That's right. I'm talking about you, soft-footed shrimp. Did you do too much last night and have no strength today? As a man, I really feel sorry for you, 3-second man. Lin Ling shouted again. 3-second man? That expert naturally knew what this meant. Nobody stop me. I'm going to suppress him to death. He was so angry that his hair was standing on end. Looking at the experts behind him, each and every one of them had red eyes. Because they had never seen such a person who courted death. Even the students of the 7 Mile Academy were not as stubborn as Lin Ling. Defeat him. Everyone could not hold back anymore. All kinds of powerful methods were thrown at Lin Ling. The scene instantly exploded with a spectacular scene. At this moment, the battles on the other 7 platforms had stopped, and they shot their gazes towards the Quake platform. What a terrifying guy. Today's exchange of pointers is completely his martial stage. Lin Ling, Snow Wind Academy's Lin Ling, I'll remember him. Many people were secretly shocked. It's him. At this moment, Princess Tian also saw the man bathed in flames. Her delicate body trembled violently. An indescribable emotion slowly burned in her heart and spread throughout her body. That emotion was terror. Because she saw Lin Ling die in the ancient coffin with her own eyes. The ancient coffin was terrifying and mysterious. Even the god of assassins did not dare to cross it. However, Lin Ling came back alive. Moreover, he had reached the martial ancestor realm and appeared before her eyes. She had a feeling that Lin Ling was here for her. Lin Ling was here for revenge. She stared at the man in the flames, but at this moment, a chaotic gaze that seemed to cross thousands of mountains and rivers appeared on her body. That was Lin Ling's gaze. She even saw the evil smile on Lin Ling's face. Not good. She could not help but exclaim. She did not know what Lin Ling wanted to do, but she knew that Lin Ling was not so simple. Those experts were like a strand of hair to Lin Ling. And what Lin Ling wanted to do now? Her eyes suddenly lit up. Breakthrough. With the help of the experts from all sides, the pressure formed and smoothly broke through to a new realm. Monster. She could not help but shout. Not long ago, Lin Ling faced the most terrifying ancestor's tribulation. He had passed it, but in such a short period of time, he was about to break through again. Everyone stop. She wanted to stop the people on the martial stage. She could not watch Lin Ling do whatever he wanted. Unfortunately, no one could hear her voice at this moment. Everyone was sneering, especially the teachers of E-Garden. They laughed the loudest, as if they could foresee the next scene. As for the people around the 8 trigrams platform, everyone stood up. They were also looking at history. The most arrogant disciple in the history of the 36 academies was about to suffer a great loss. On the martial stage, there were continuous rumbles. All the experts' attacks fell on Lin Ling flames, lightning, ice, and so on, formed a great tribulation. Looking at Lin Ling again, his body was covered in blood, his long hair was dancing wildly, his hands were raised to the sky, and he did not take a step back. This kid is terrifying. If he can pass this tribulation, he will definitely soar to the sky. An academy dean said solemnly. Although Lin Ling was arrogant, he was also crazy and stubborn. Even now, he still did not admit defeat. How could he know that Lin Ling was roaring in his heart at this moment? Just a little bit more, just a little bit more. Behind him, the evil spirit jellyfish went in and out crazily, swallowing all the experts' attacks and then bringing them into Lin Ling's body, forming a powerful breakthrough force. Of course, the pressure on Lin Ling was not small. However, success was at that moment. He was confident that he could hold on. After this battle, it was time for his name to shake the 36 academies. Chapter 37-27. Lights soared into the sky. Boom! In the end, a roar that shocked the entire E-Garden sounded. The word tremor Marshall platforms exploded and scattered on the ground like islands in the sea. Defeated. Everyone's eyes finally lit up. Good, madman, we have to defeat him in an even crazier way. Amidst the silence, a teacher from the E-Garden let out an excited voice. On the shattered Marshall platforms that were like isolated islands, numerous experts rubbed their noses. At this moment, they felt a sense of pride, as though they had defeated a great demon of the final world. Chi. However, at this moment, a huge pressure appeared in the sky. Then, a great world came crashing down. What, a great world tribulation? Heavens, this is the 7 types of tribulations: void, real, shatter, annihilation, extreme, and break. It's the final nirvana tribulation. What's going on? Who's going through the tribulation? Everyone sucked in a breath of cold air. The great world in the sky came crashing down on the ground, but on the ground, a roar sounded. Then, a man stood up like an invincible god of war. He looked at the great world tribulation in the sky and punched out. Rumble. His voice seemed to spread throughout the 9 provinces. Under the punch, the great world tribulation immediately exploded. What the hell? An old man let out a horrified cry. However, the man's fist did not stop. It blasted into the sky like a meteor. Rumble. Pop pop pop. The sky rumbled continuously. The great world tribulation that kept smashing down was constantly blasted apart. After an incense stick's worth of time, everything finally calmed down. However, the huge 8 trigrams Marshall platform was dead silent. Everyone swallowed their saliva. What was going on with his mother? Who's going through the tribulation? A puzzled voice appeared in everyone's heart. It's me. However, the mystery was soon solved. A figure rose from the ground and rushed into the sky, looking down at all the experts on the ground. This man was naked from the waist up. His long hair danced wildly, and he carried a sword on his back. He was looking at everyone with an evil smile. It was Lin Ling. When they saw the domineering man, all the experts on the ground stopped breathing. Some people even slapped themselves hard to see if they were dreaming or not. Because Lin Ling was suppressed by the experts together, not only did he not die, but he was going through the tribulation. Moreover, he was going through the most terrifying great world tribulation among the martial ancestors. Surprised, aren't you? Lin Ling looked at everyone below him with contempt. Sorry, I made you guys were too happy. In fact, I wanted to use your strength stage, Nirvana stage. What? You want us to break through? So, you did that on purpose? All the experts were their eyes widened. They were so angry that they almost exploded. Is suke? It can't be said to be intentional. It should be done on purpose. However, you guys are too useless. You guys spent 3 incense sticks worth of time to resolve this matter. If I didn't scold you guys so badly, You guys would have dragged on for an hour before resolving this matter. This sentence was like a sharp knife, ruthlessly stabbing into everyone's hearts. Not only did he deceive them, he even said they were not strong enough and wasted their time. After all, they were the ones who helped Lin Ling pass the tribulation. Alright, your arrogance has come to an end. Now, I'll let you see how weak you are. Lin Ling waved his right hand, and a new blue and white robe appeared. After he put it on, he looked at the ground in disarray. Sword out. The true inheritance nether swords appeared, and there were 9,999 of them. Soul out. Countless evil spirit jellyfish leaped out. Time-space divine steel. Illusory god world. Calamity-destroying sun bow. Lin Ling kept shouting. Powerful energy covered the entire sky. At this moment, he let everyone know whether he was weak or at his peak. These methods were obviously twice as powerful as before. This also let everyone know that Lin Ling was deliberately going easy on them. Otherwise, with Lin Ling's full strength, they would have been unable to withstand a single blow. Rumble. The ground shook violently. Countless attacks bombarded the ground like meteors, and the tremor martial platform was annihilated in an instant. After a long time, the aftermath gradually weakened. Looking at the ground again, the experts of the various academies who were standing before were now lying on the ground in a sorry state. Some were buried by rocks, revealing half of their buttocks. Some were completely buried, revealing only their innocent heads. In short, they were in a sorry state. Bang! Lin Ling flew to the ground and smashed down like a boulder. He walked towards those experts step by step, and the true inheritance nether swords appeared in front of the 39 experts. Do you admit defeat? A low shout was like a thunderclap that entered everyone's heart. Admit defeat, I admit defeat. Those people weren't killed by Lin Ling. They were only defeated. At this moment, they all sullenly admitted defeat. All of you, shout together. If you're a moment slower or not in unison, then don't blame me, Lin Ling, for being impolite. Lin Ling shouted coldly again. Admit defeat. Neat voices rushed to the 9 heavens. At this moment, not only was everyone looking at Lin Ling, even the entire E-Garden seemed to be looking at Lin Ling. Lin Ling's light soared into the sky. E-Garden was silent. They could only watch a madman from the Snow Wind Academy strut around in their territory, illuminating E-City. In fact, Lin Ling had indeed illuminated E-City. At this moment, was there anyone who didn't know about Lin Ling? Obviously not. The dean of the Snow Wind Academy clenched her fists in excitement. Although Lin Ling wasn't the strongest in the competition, it was certain that Lin Ling's battle was the most exciting, the most intense, and the most domineering. One person against 40 people and returned with a great victory. Duan Wuhan, now, you should have seen me. However, Lin Ling didn't pay attention to the strange gazes of the crowd. Instead, he looked at the distant martial platform and said. Everything he did was not to become famous, not to prove himself, but for Duan Wuhan. At the same time, on the distant martial platform, a man with his hands behind his back looked coldly at Lin Ling. He was Duan Wuhan. At this moment, he was undoubtedly extremely surprised. No, it should be said that he was shocked. Because he didn't expect Lin Ling to come, and even more didn't expect Lin Ling to face him in such a way. Lin Ling, you're here too. Duan Wuhan smiled, and his smile was extremely calm. For Lin Ling's appearance, although he was extremely surprised, he also instantly thought of one thing. The person who robbed the execution ground must be Lin Ling. This meant that Lin Ling's death was imminent. Stupid. Lin Ling was so stupid. Didn't he know that the entire East City was looking for him? He actually dared to strut around here. In order to make a name for himself, he actually used such a high-profile way to fight. I have to say, my evaluation of you suddenly dropped a point. Duan Wuhan couldn't help but shake his head and said with some disappointment. Hee, I hope that in the future, you still have the confidence to say this sentence. Lin Ling naturally guessed the meaning of Duan Wuhan's words. The funny thing was that Duan Wuhan thought he was stupid. He didn't know that Lin Ling had come prepared. Chapter 37-28. Zhou Jun's Challenge. I heard that you're going to take your first step in life again, right? Suppressing the thoughts in his heart, Lin Ling said again. Yes, do you have any suggestions? Duan Wuhan nodded and smiled indifferently. Hearing this, Lin Ling paused and said calmly, Sorry, I'm here today to suppress you. As soon as his words fell, the entire 8 trigrams martial platform exploded. No wonder Lin Ling was so arrogant. It turned out that his goal was Duan Wuhan. The people before were all cannon fodder. Lin Ling turned into cannon fodder in order to attract Duan Wuhan's attention. There was no doubt that the people of the major academies were furious again. This Lin Ling, what a big move, what a big courage, he simply did not see their major academies as anything. Interesting. Well, I'll wait for you. Duan Wuhan was stunned and suddenly laughed out loud. His strength was now greatly increased. Why would he be afraid of Lin Ling? Moreover, the grudge between him and Lin Ling should be settled. The most important thing was that he knew that Lin Ling would definitely die today. However, before the city lord of East City arrived, he did not mind fighting with Lin Ling. He could step on Lin Ling to become famous. And this was the first step of his plan for glory. Lin Ling saw Duan Wuhan's confident smile and instantly guessed the other party's thoughts. He also smiled, knowing that the battle would not be too long. There are still 10 people left. You can all come together. Go. Retracting his gaze, Lin Ling looked around the martial platform again and said. However, the martial stage was completely silent. What a joke, who would dare to go up? Admit defeat, I admit defeat. Go. The remaining 10 people all bowed their heads. This also led to the appearance of the seated contestant of the Tremor martial platform. It was Lin Ling. Seated contestant. Go. Seeing this, the dean was undoubtedly excited and roared towards the sky because this result had completely exceeded her expectations. Looking at Dean Lu and the others, they were also extremely excited, as if Lin Ling had also won endless glory for their academy. On the contrary, Lin Ling didn't feel that there was anything to be proud of. After shaking his head helplessly, he finally walked down from the martial stage. Countless eyes immediately looked at him. Many people wanted to know what this Lin Ling was thinking. In order to fight with Duan Wuhan, he did not hesitate to cause such a big sensation. As for one direction of the martial platform, a large number of people appeared there. They looked at Lin Ling, who was walking down step by step, and nodded their heads. That's right. It's him. He has a powerful bodyguard who can defeat a half-step martial god. I was defeated by that bodyguard. An old man nodded and said. Since the Qi Wei has confirmed it, then it's time to inform the city lord. Inform him immediately. These people were obviously the experts of East City. As for the old man, he was the guardian of the execution ground. At this moment, he stared at Lin Ling and couldn't help but laugh. What a strange kid. He never expected that after Lin Ling robbed the execution field, not only did he not hide, but he also swaggered into Yi Garden to fight in the arena. Moreover, he fought very crazily, as if he was afraid that Yi Cheng would not know that he was here. It had to be said that he was indeed a freak. The seated contestants of the Zhen martial platform appeared, and it didn't take long for the seated contestants of the other 7 martial platforms to appear. In the end, only 8 people were left for this exchange. Except for Lin Ling, the other 7 seated contestants were not too surprising. Next, it was naturally the final battle of the 8 people. However, at this time, Lin Ling's voice also quietly floated out. In order to avoid wasting any time, I think it's better for me to fight with Duan Wuhan. The others are exempt. As soon as this voice fell, it was like a bomb bombarding all the major academies, even East City. The final competition was coming, and Lin Ling was still so crazy. It was as if he had already become the first, and the rest of the people were just chickens and dogs. He even disdained to fight with chickens and dogs. This guy was simply crazy to the end. Who do you think you are? You want to fight just because you say so? That's too much. The remaining 8 people should be drawn to fight, but you want to skip a grade. Do you really think we're not things? This time, not only were the people of E-Garden furious, but even the people of the other academies were furious. Because Lin Ling's words were also unconventional. He actually wanted to skip a grade. Sorry, I really don't think you're things. Lin Ling glanced at the crowd and said honestly. How dare you? Many teachers from other academies shouted out in anger. It's not that you can't fight, but at least you have to defeat me. At this moment, a cold voice suddenly sounded, and then a handsome young man came out. Lin Ling obviously did not know this person, so he frowned slightly. Zhou Jun, Zhou Jun. However, a large number of cheers sounded in an instant, and among them were the screams of countless women. Those screams were almost crazy. Zhou Jun. The 5th master of E-Garden's 3rd hall, and the 422nd on the god list stairway to heaven. His strength was not to be underestimated. And he was also the prince of Rain Country, and his rain sword shocked the 9 states. Most importantly, he was the only one who could fight against Duan Wuhen in this exchange. Zhou Jun, are you finally going to fight? In a corner of the 8 trigrams martial stage, there was a high platform. A large number of old men in 8 trigrams robes sat there, and one of them was holding a fist-sized 8 trigrams purple furnace, with a proud smile on his face. And he was the dean of E-Garden. Previously, he had seen the student of Snow Wind Academy go crazy again and again. It would be a lie to say that he was not angry. This was because this exchange was organized by the E-Garden. As the host, it was normal for them to receive the most attention. However, someone did not follow the rules and slapped the host's face in front of the whole E-Garden. So, he had long wanted to send the experts of E-Garden to fight and trample on Snow Wind Academy. However, E-Garden was a big academy after all, so he was embarrassed to ask. If that junior had not sent himself to death, E-Garden would not be able to find an excuse. Zhou Jun, the 7th grade ultimate desolate body, 60% of the ancestral power, and the strength of a late-stage martial ancestor, is enough to defeat that madman. E-Garden's vice dean said with a smile. It's enough. That madman is just playing to the gallery. He seems to be arrogantly sweeping the tremor martial stage, but in fact, our academy's Zhou Jun can also do it. The overall strength of the tremor martial stage is not high. The dean said with a nod. And under the attention of everyone, Zhou Jun also floated up. He was elegant and had an extraordinary temperament. The reason he wanted to fight Lin Ling was naturally not for the sake of the E-Villa. As far as he was concerned, a clown like Lin Ling wasn't worthy of him fighting Lin Ling. It was even to the extent that he felt that fighting Lin Ling would cause him to lose his status. His goal was Princess Tian. Chapter 37-29. The Battle of the Black and White Swords. In fact, Princess Tian was also looking at Zhou Jun with great anticipation. Zhou Jun had a 7th grade ultimate desolate body. She also believed that Lin Ling was bound to lose. Who are you? Lin Ling was still looking at Zhou Jun. A 7th grade ultimate desolate body was quite a good talent. Unfortunately, his realm was too low. If he had reached the half-step martial god realm, even Lin Ling would have to be wary of him. However, you don't have to answer. You are not qualified to fight me. Shaking his head, Lin Ling felt disdain for him. What? Lin Ling's nonchalant words made countless people's pupils constrict. Fanatic, a complete fanatic. Zhou Jun was an expert from the E-Garden. In the 36 colleges, there was no warrior from the Divine Three Halls who did not know him. However, Lin Ling said he was not qualified. After all, many people could sense that Zhou Jun did not want to fight Lin Ling. He was afraid of dirtying his hands. Therefore, in terms of qualifications, it was actually Lin Ling. Brother Lin Ling, you sure are domineering. In a corner of the 8 trigrams martial platform, Zhang Wudi and company gasped. They were from the Divine Three Halls, so they naturally knew that some people were not to be trifled with. One of them was Zhou Jun. In front of Zhou Jun, their brother Wudi would definitely kneel down and call him brother. He would not dare to call himself brother. But now, such an important figure was not qualified for Lin Ling to fight. He was not even qualified to look at him. As for Zhou Jun, he was also stunned. Following that, he roared angrily, "Are you fighting or not?" A large number of women cursed around the 8 trigrams martial platform. They were cursing Lin Ling for overestimating himself. He clearly did not dare to fight, but he found an excuse to say he was not qualified. "I already said that you are not qualified." However, Lin Ling said without even looking at him. Zhou Jun immediately felt helpless. He couldn't possibly attack Lin Ling head-on. After all, there were referees in this sparring match. "I'm here for Princess Tian." Suddenly, he seemed to have thought of something and sneered. As soon as he said that, Lin Ling finally looked at him. "Princess Tian? The woman from the castle of black gold?" In fact, in the Black Gold Castle, the masterminds who targeted Lin Ling, Duan Feihong, the god of assassins, and the others were all dead. The only exception was Princess Tian. This woman ran very quickly and disappeared from the 9 provinces in an instant. This also caused Lin Ling to be unable to find her for a while. And now, Lin Ling had never imagined that Princess Tian would let Zhou Jun fight him. In that case, Lin Ling had no reason to not fight. "Sure, but I want to ask if I can fight Duan Wuhan after defeating you." Lin Ling finally spoke. "Sure." The seated contestants of the various martial stages immediately answered and nodded in agreement. In their hearts, they did not think that Lin Ling was a match for Zhou Jun. Since they have all agreed, it means that it is true. The referee looked at the crowd and then nodded at Lin Ling. "All right, let's fight." Lin Ling finally nodded. "I've been waiting for you to say that for a long time." Zhou Jun immediately revealed a smile. He had indeed been waiting for this for a long time. He was the first to appear on the Qian martial stage. This was the largest martial stage and also the most glorious martial stage. A large sword appeared in his hand. It was exactly the same as Lin Ling's sword, except that it was white. And this sword was called the Rain Pool Sword. It was a rare 5th-grade divine artifact. Misty rain surrounded his body. This was his talent. Under the Misty Rain domain, his attack, defense, and speed were all raised to a new level. And now, he was probably able to fight a half-step martial god. Seeing the changes on the martial stage, the crowd was astonished. What a powerful aura. Looking at Lin Ling, he had just landed on the martial stage and the tyrannical song sword appeared in his hand. However, Lin Ling did not use any techniques, so it looked like he was just an ordinary 3rd-level martial ancestor. Although Lin Ling's techniques were endless, they were only effective against a 6th-grade ultimate desolate body. Although the difference between a 6th grade and a 7th grade seemed to be one word, it could be the difference between heaven and earth. Who will win this battle? Some colleges even opened a bet. Nonsense, it's definitely Zhou Jun. He is ranked 5th in the E-Garden. How can his reputation be undeserved? However, Lin Ling also looked like he was about to lose, but he swept all the experts on the Zhen martial stage. Don't fool me. Don't try to trick me. No matter what you say, I'm definitely betting on Lin Ling to lose. Yes. The 8 trigrams martial stage gradually became lively. And at this moment, on the Qian martial stage, the referee's voice finally sounded. This was also the first battle of the 8 seeded contestants on the martial stages. However, the contestants were not weak. One was a madman who swept the martial stage, and the other was Zhou Jun of the E-Garden. Who was stronger and who was weaker would be decided at this moment. The black sword and the white sword clashed, and at this moment, the truth was revealed. Break for me. Break. The martial stage suddenly became heavy rain. Zhou Jun seemed to have disappeared in the rain. The white sword was dazzling, reflecting countless rays of light with the help of the rain. It was extremely dazzling. He used his full strength right from the start, and his speed reached the speed of 900 worlds. This speed was indeed extraordinary. If Lin Ling did not use his innate talent, fusion, he would only be on par with him. Moreover, he didn't give Lin Ling any chance of survival. Obviously, he wanted to kill Lin Ling. The reason for this was because he knew that Princess Tian wanted Lin Ling dead. Since that was the case, he would clean up the house for Princess Tian. In this way, he would also be able to gain the favor of Princess Tian, and their reign country would be able to marry Miao Shen's true disciple. Walala. The power of that sword was extremely terrifying. Not only was it rich in world essence, it also contained the power of innate talent and 60% of ancestral power. His innate talent was Rain Country's Great Lake physique, which increased his power by almost 1-fold. What a terrifying sword. It's like a violent storm, and also like a hazy wind barrier. I can't take it, I can't take it. Exclamation point. The elites around the martial stage exclaimed in shock. They discovered that if it were them, they would not be able to take it at all. As for the other seated contestants, apart from Duan Wuhan, everyone's expression was grave. They also felt a huge pressure from this sword. Looking at Lin Ling again, he also narrowed his eyes. This Zhou Jun did indeed have some ability. At present, if Lin Ling used innate talent fusion, he could easily defeat Zhou Jun. After all, in terms of innate talent, world essence, and ancestral power, Lin Ling was not weaker than the other party. In fact, he was even slightly stronger. However, a trump card like innate talent fusion was left for Duan Wuhan. So in an instant, Lin Ling had already made a decision. He planned to use the ancestral power of the tyrannical Song Sword to resist. The ancestral power of the tyrannical Song Sword had been completely activated by Steel Emperor God. However, Lin Ling could only use 60% of it. But now that Lin Ling had broken through, perhaps the tyrannical Song Sword would have a chance to activate it again. That brat, is he going to be killed? Chapter 3730. A self-harming battle. In their opinion, Lin Ling was too arrogant and it was rare for Snow Wind Academy to encounter such a seedling, so they wanted to kill him in the cradle. Because a true genius could only appear in E-Garden. In fact, the deans of the other academies also narrowed their eyes and sneered. There were even more excited teachers who stood up and smiled contemptuously. When a martial artist attacks, sometimes they can't hold back. If they die, they can't blame anyone. However, what surprised everyone was that facing Zhou Jun's sword, Lin Ling did not do anything. Instead, he stabbed out with his sword, showing off his ability. Moreover, this sword was not aimed at Zhou Jun's sword, but at Zhou Jun. This was also a tactic of mutual destruction. It was the true core of a swordsman. A sword for a life. Are you courting death? Zhou Jun was stunned and then his lips curled into a disdainful smile. A sword for a life? Could it be that this Lin Ling thought that his talent was higher than his? Could it be that this Lin Ling thought that his Jia Yuan was thicker than his? Could it be that this Lin Ling thought that his sword was sharper than his? This Lin Ling was simply kicked in the head by a donkey. Being pierced by a sword, blood splattering, this should be very satisfying. I have to say, you're really an idiot. Zhou Jun could not help but laugh sarcastically. This sentence was obviously to tell Princess Tian that the Lin Ling she thought was invincible was actually like this. Even a little like an idiot. Of course, it was not only him who thought this, even the surrounding people thought so. An initial stage martial ancestor withstanding the sword of a late stage martial ancestor, who had a 7th grade talent. If this was not an idiot, what was? It was undeniable that Lin Ling's strength was indeed powerful, but being able to fight did not mean that he could withstand a sword. In the hearts of the teachers, if they were to divide the experts in today's competition, Duan Wuhan and Zhou Jun would be the first level, and Lin Ling would only be the second level, comparable to the other seeded contestants. He might even be the 3rd level. As for Zhou Jun, of course he did not choose to defend. Firstly, his talent was powerful. It increased his attack, speed, defense, and so on. It was an all-round improvement. Secondly, Lin Ling wasn't afraid of his sword, so how could he be afraid of Lin Ling's sword? In his opinion, Lin Ling was only slightly stronger than Kagura. That little bit of power posed no threat to him at all. Princess Tian, do you see this? This is a battle between swordsmen. A battle of swords is also a battle of life. Zhou Jun even secretly glanced at Princess Tian with a proud smile on his face. One black and one white, from far to near, as if they represented the path of justice and the path of evil, crazily intertwining. This confrontation between swordsmen was like a battle of self-destruction. The two swords crossed each other in parallel. In the next moment, blood spurted out like a fountain and unbridled sprinkled on the martial stage. Someone had been hit by the sword. Countless gazes immediately locked onto the martial stage. With just a glance, everyone was stunned. Zhou Jun's sword pierced Lin Ling's chest, but no blood flowed out. Instead, it was as if it had stabbed into a black hole. No, it should be as if it had stabbed into a sludge, and its power was weakening. Looking at Zhou Jun again, although the raindrops were constantly healing him, his chest had been pierced by the great sword. Blood gushed out like it was free of charge. It turned out that the blood was his. That's my blood? Even Zhou Jun was in disbelief. However, the sharp pain in his chest made him realize that the blood was indeed his. You're the idiot. Lin Ling said sarcastically. His figure suddenly retreated, and at the same time, he pulled out tyrannical song. Puchi. More blood gushed out from Zhou Jun's chest, turning the originally elegant Zhou Jun into a bloody man. Of course, compared to the pain in his chest, Zhou Jun's heart was even more painful. He had come in the limelight because his father had entrusted him with the task of winning Princess Tian's heart. However, before he could act tough, he had been killed. Moreover, he was confused. With his talent, Lin Ling should not have been able to hurt him, and he should have been able to kill Lin Ling. He did not know that Lin Ling had activated 60% of the tyrannical song's ancestral power. Although he appeared to be a 3rd-level martial ancestor, he had actually merged his 6 dantians. In fact, if he had not chosen to hurt himself, although Lin Ling's sword was powerful, he might not have been able to kill him so quickly. However, he had chosen to hurt himself by fighting Lin Ling? Did he really think that Lin Ling's sword was made of paper? As for Zhou Jun's sword, it would not harm Lin Ling's powerful godly demon body in the short term. Especially after the realm-devouring beast's talent had increased, its immortality had become even more prominent. In fact, after Lin Ling floated back, the mud on his chest had indeed recovered in an instant. Zhou Jun glanced at him and was so angry that his nose was crooked. He could not care less and immediately moved his left hand. His fingers pointed at his chest, between his eyebrows, dantian, and throat. A mysterious rune appeared on his body, but even more blood gushed out at the same time. The only change was that his aura had increased. Secret technique. Lin Ling's eyes flashed. He immediately knew that this guy had used a mysterious technique to forcibly increase his strength. That's right, Rain Country's heaven worship technique. At this moment, Zhou Jun let out a low voice. The entire martial platform was no longer hazy like before, but was filled with heavy rain. At this moment, Zhou Jun also moved and disappeared from the world. Heaven worship sword. A cold shout was heard, and sword light flashed, shocking the 8 trigrams martial platform. 80% ancestral power. Some experts sucked in a breath of cold air. They realized that all the rainwater in the universe was condensing toward the sword. The rain in the universe was not from the same realm. From this, it could be seen how terrifying that sword was. This time, how could Lin Ling receive it? He would definitely be cut in half. However, to Lin Ling, he indeed did not dare to receive it easily. But, why should he receive it? At this moment, Lin Ling was standing still in the heavy rain, sensing the rain from all over the universe. Wind and rain myriad realms technique. He suddenly thought of this speed movement technique. Where did the rain come from? From the myriad realms, from the void. All this time, Lin Ling had been comprehending the wind and rain of the myriad realms, but this time, he finally touched the wind and rain of the void. The void was obviously larger than the myriad realms, and more ancient. The myriad realms would collapse, but the void would never be destroyed. And what made Lin Ling's eyes flash was precisely Rain Country's heaven worship technique. Xiao. When Zhou Jun's sword was 1 meter away from Lin Ling instantly disappeared from where he was, the speed of 1,200 realms exploding out. What kind of concept was this? It meant that Lin Ling did not have the fusion innate talent, but his speed was already comparable to the speed after fusion. If he used the fusion innate talent, he could increase it by another 300 realms. The wind and rain myriad realms technique was also cultivated to the highest level by Lin Ling. This point, even treasure god Nanwu Fengyu probably did not expect. Zhou Jun swung his sword, wanting to see the most exciting scene, but at the crucial moment, an afterimage appeared in front of him. Then, Lin Ling disappeared. You're tuning into the Biyao's Wuxia Chronicles YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.